Welcome to our live event. This is more than just a stream, it's a movement. Introducing To Do Mischief, Forsaking the Holy Covenant, now available on Amazon, Kindle, and shopwowgoods.com. We're replacing 50 years of black music with truth music. Our exclusive soundtrack is here to uplift, inspire, and tell our story, raw and unfiltered. Don't miss our 7-day flash sale at shopwowgoods.com. Get up to 50% off select items and enjoy free shipping on all orders over $50. Most products ship in as little as 3 days. Want to go deeper? Join our Patreon, Nazareth is the Hood podcast, for rated T, too hot for social media content, unfiltered truth, real stories, and a community that supports you. Shop now at shopwowgoods.com. Grab your copy of To Do Mischief and join our movement for truth, music, and real change. Thanks for tuning in. Let's make history together.
Disclaimer. The following presentation is taken from an anonymous blog post by a self-identified music company executive from Europe, who recounts an alleged meeting he attended in 1991. This reading is brought to you by the author of To Do Mischief, Forsaking the Holy Covenant, How the Heathen Destroyed the Israelites, available now at spiritofismuth.com, Amazon, Kindle, Goodreads, and Barnes & Nobles.
The secret meeting that changed rap music and destroyed a generation. This anonymous letter landed in my inbox about a minute ago. Hello. After more than 20 years, I've finally decided to tell the world what I witnessed in 1991, which I believe was one of the biggest turning points in popular music and ultimately American society. I have struggled for a long time weighing the pros and cons of making this story public, as I was reluctant to implicate the individuals who were present that day. So I've simply decided to leave out names and all the details that may risk my personal well-being and that of those who were, like me, dragged into something they weren't ready for. Between the late 80s and early 90s, I was what you may call a decision maker with one of the more established companies in the music industry. I came from Europe in the early 80s and quickly established myself in the business. The industry was different back then. Since technology and media weren't accessible to people like they are today, the industry had more control over the public and had the means to influence them any way it wanted. This may explain why, in early 1991, I was invited to attend a closed-door meeting with a small group of music business insiders to discuss rap music's new direction. Little did I know that we would be asked to participate in one of the most unethical and destructive business practice I've ever seen. The meeting was held at a private residence on the outskirts of Los Angeles. I remember about 25 to 30 people being there, most of them familiar faces. Speaking to those I knew, we joked about the theme of the meeting, as many of us did not care for rap music and failed to see the purpose of being invited to a private gathering to discuss its future. Among the attendees was a small group of unfamiliar faces who stayed to themselves and made no attempt to socialize beyond their circle. Based on their behavior and formal appearances, they didn't seem to be in our industry. Our casual chatter was interrupted when we were asked to sign a confidentiality agreement preventing us from publicly discussing the information presented during the meeting. Needless to say, this intrigued and in some cases disturbed many of us. The agreement was only a page long, but very clear on the matter, and consequences which stated that violating the terms would result in job termination. We asked several people what this meeting was about and the reason for such secrecy, but couldn't find anyone who had answers for us. A few people refused to sign and walked out. No one stopped them. I was tempted to follow, but curiosity got the best of me. A man who was part of the unfamiliar group collected the agreements from us. Quickly after the meeting began, one of my industry colleagues, who shall remain nameless like everyone else, thanked us for attending. He then gave the floor to a man who only introduced himself by first name and gave no further details about his personal background. I think he was the owner of the residence, but it was never confirmed. He briefly praised all of us for the success we had achieved in our industry and congratulated us for being selected as part of this small group of decision makers. At this point, I begin to feel slightly uncomfortable at the strangeness of this gathering. The subject quickly changed as the speaker went on to tell us that the respective companies we represented had invested in a very profitable industry, which could become even more rewarding with our active involvement. He explained that the companies we work for had invested millions into the building of privately owned prisons, and that our positions of influence in the music industry would actually impact the profitability of these investments. I remember many of us in the group immediately looking at each other in confusion. At the time, I didn't know what a private prison was, but I wasn't the only one. Sure enough, someone asked what these prisons were and what any of this had to do with us. We were told that these prisons were built by privately owned companies who received funding from the government based on the number of inmates. The more inmates, the more money the government would pay these prisons. It was also made clear to us that since these prisons are privately owned, as they become publicly traded, we'd be able to buy shares. Most of us were taken back by this. Again, a couple of people asked what this had to do with us. At this point, my industry colleague, who had first opened the meeting, took the floor again and answered our questions. He told us that since our employers had become silent investors in this prison business, it was now in their interest to make sure that these prisons remain filled. Our job would be to help make this happen by marketing music which promotes criminal behavior, rap being the music of choice. He assured us that this would be a great situation for us because rap music was becoming an increasingly profitable market for our companies. And as employee, we'd also be able to buy personal stocks in these prisons. Immediately, silence came over the room. You could have heard a pin drop. I remember looking around to make sure I wasn't dreaming and saw half of the people with dropped jaws. My daze was interrupted when someone shouted, "Is this a fuck sooner joke?" At this point, things became chaotic. Two of the men who were part of the unfamiliar group grabbed the man who shouted out and attempted to remove him from the house. A few of us, myself included, tried to intervene. One of them pulled out a gun and we all backed off. They separated us from the crowd and all four of us were escorted outside. My industry colleague who had opened the meeting earlier hurried out to meet us and reminded us that we had signed agreement and would suffer the consequences of speaking about this publicly or even with those who attended the meeting. I asked him why he was involved with something this corrupt, and he replied that it was bigger than the music business and nothing we'd want to challenge without risking consequences. We all protested, and as he walked back into the house, I remember word for word the last thing he said, "It's out of my hands now. Remember you signed an agreement." He then closed the door behind him. The men rushed us to our cars and actually watched until we drove off. A million things were going through my mind as I drove away, and I eventually decided to pull over and park on a side street in order to collect my thoughts. I replayed everything in my mind repeatedly, and it all seemed very surreal to me. I was angry with myself for not having taken a more active role in questioning what had been presented to us. I'd like to believe the shock of it all is what suspended my better nature. After what seemed like an eternity, I was able to calm myself enough to make it home. I didn't talk or call anyone that night. The next day back at the office, I was visibly out of it, but blamed it on being under the weather. No one else in my department had been invited to the meeting, and I felt a sense of guilt for not being able to share what I had witnessed. I thought about contacting the three others who were kicked out of the house, but I didn't remember their names and thought that tracking them down would probably bring unwanted attention. I considered speaking out publicly at the risk of losing my job, but I realized I'd probably be jeopardizing more than my job, and I wasn't willing to risk anything happening to my family. I thought about those men with guns and wondered who they were. I had been told that this was bigger than the music business, and all I could do was let my imagination run free. There were no answers and no one to talk to. I tried to do a little bit of research on private prisons, but didn't uncover anything about the music business involvement. However, the information I did find confirmed how dangerous this prison business really was. Days turned into weeks and weeks into months. Eventually, it was as if the meeting had never taken place. It all seemed surreal. I became more reclusive and stopped going to any industry events unless professionally obligated to do so. On 2 occasions, I found myself attending the same function as my former colleague. Both times, our eyes met, but nothing more was exchanged. As the months passed, rap music had definitely changed direction. I was never a fan of it, but even I could tell the difference. Rap acts that talked about politics or harmless fun were quickly fading away as gangster rap started dominating the airwaves. Only a few months had passed since the meeting, but I suspect that the ideas presented that day had been successfully implemented. It was as if the order has been given to all major label executives. The music was climbing the charts, and most companies were more than happy to capitalize on it. Each one was churning out their very own gangster rap acts on an assembly line. Everyone bought into it, consumers included. Violence and drug use became a central theme in most rap music. I spoke to a few of my peers in the industry to get their opinions on the new trend, but was told repeatedly that it was all about supply and demand. Sadly, many of them even expressed that the music reinforced their prejudice of minorities. I officially quit the music business in 1993, but my heart had already left months before. I broke ties with the majority of my peers and removed myself from this thing I had once loved. I took some time off, returned to Europe for a few years, settled out of state, and lived a quiet life away from the world of entertainment. As the years passed, I managed to keep my secret, fearful of sharing it with the wrong person, but also a little ashamed of not having had the balls to blow the whistle. But as rap got worse, my guilt grew. Fortunately, in the late 90s, having the internet as a resource which wasn't at my disposal in the early days made it easier for me to investigate what is now labeled the prison industrial complex. Now that I have a greater understanding of how private prisons operate, things make much more sense than they ever have. I see how the criminalization of rap music played a big part in promoting racial stereotypes and misguided so many impressionable young minds into adopting these glorified criminal behaviors, which often lead to incarceration. 20 years of guilt is a heavy load to carry, but the least I can do now is to share my story, hoping that fans of rap music realize how they've been used for the past 2 decades. Although I plan on remaining anonymous for obvious reasons, my goal now is to get this information out to as many people as possible. Please help me spread the word. Hopefully, others who attended the meeting back in 1991 will be inspired by this and tell their own stories. Most importantly, if only one life has been touched by my story, I pray it makes the weight of my guilt a little more tolerable.
What if I told you that every time a bank declines a small business loan application, that could represent an opportunity for you to
spilling tea, no sugar, no fear. They talk loud, but I'm still here. Like Keisha, say it clear. Real talk lives right here. Yeah.
Welcome, guys. Let's get this party started. Hello to everyone in the chat. Let me start shouting some people out. Asia the Heart Seeker. We got Protected by God. We have Melissa Mack B250. We have, let's see, Lady Marie 1. We have Shawnee 76, Crosby House 4055, Monic 544, Hoy Tisha Harris 9495, Rita Blunt 5266. Y'all, let's get this party started, okay? Because it's been so much, honey. I needed to take a break because y'all, these folks don't like us. But listen, I don't give a damn. I have dealt with this years ago. I don't care what nobody think of me, especially nobody who is racist. You know, that's the worst type of people in the whole world. A person who don't like you because of the color of your skin ain't worth the shit that when you go to the bathroom and you have the shit, they ain't even worth that. So please don't allow these people to get you frustrated. Don't allow them to mess with your mental health. When I get done with this video, I'm going to the spa. Please focus on your mental health, focus on you, and let these hoes be mad and hateful because that's just who they are. Like, I'm not surprised. I'm just telling y'all, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. I'm going to tell y'all this. When I saw people cheering for Donald Trump, it was only a matter of time. Now, I want y'all to understand this. Donald Trump didn't make folks be racist. He made them be a comfortable racist. So I'm not surprised. But listen, folks, you got to watch out for yourself. You got to watch out for your kids. You got to be all in their business, and you got to let them know what's up and what's going on. Because we in some very, very, very interesting times. But listen, I saw this shit years ago. I saw this years ago. I'm born and raised from Wisconsin. I left there. I left a whole state because I was sick of this. Not to say racism don't happen all over, but I made the decision that I was going to live in Georgia, where I have a whole bunch of Black judges and a whole bunch of Black folks in authority. I surrendered that I was done dealing with every time I had to deal with somebody in authority that they were going to be white. I was over that, okay? People can talk about Black folks all you want, but at the end of the day, I would rather deal with my folks sometime. I was tired of dealing with them. Every single, it was the school principal, not to say it wasn't Black principals in Wisconsin, but I didn't see enough, okay? So I left where I live because I was sick of every time I had to deal with anything as it related to authority, it was them. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I'm not surprised. I feel heartbroken for this family. And the only thing we can do, is keep talking about it. But what I'm going to do on this channel is we're going to walk through how to file a complaint against this judge. Now, I'm going to set up where I'm going to bring out my computer and we're going to go through it, and you guys can do the same. You can, get your computer out. I'm going to get my computer out, and we're going to walk through how to file a complaint. One thing we got to start doing is filing complaint after complaint. I got 120 some thousand subs. Now I know everybody, they're not watching, but I know in a video, I can at least get 1,000 of y'all to file a complaint. You understand what I'm saying? We got to start taking the actions that we can take. You know what I mean? We have to start utilizing what we can utilize. We're going to file complaints against this judge. We're going to file complaints against the Carmelo Anthony judge and the prosecutors. I just have to get the correct links for those individuals. Now, I was watching the video, shout out to the Not Guilty Boys, and they were doing a video about filing a complaint. And I told them, listen, I need y'all to provide the links, just because I'm not a lawyer and some things I just don't know. And because you're a lawyer and just give me the link. So I just want the straight link, so I don't got to try to figure it out and get the wrong link. So we're working on that because, as you guys know, Carmelo Anthony does have a court hearing coming up. And if you in Texas, especially in the area, I need you to be there, okay? later on for the talking about the shit, we got to be about it. If you're in Texas and your cousin, your brother, your uncle, your mama, whoever, go and sit your ass in that courtroom, okay? Now, for this video, y'all, we got to get into it. Now, I try to be a conspiracy theorist when it's needed, but I really try to not get into the fake ass shit that everybody is putting out on the internet, because I feel like this is a real story. And if it was my family, I would be so hurtful if people are just making up shit for clicks and views. Now, there are a lot of things that's been put out on the internet and we don't know if it's true or not. Now, I do talk about those things because we are in a quest for information and we don't know what's true and what's not. So with that, if I feel like there's some validity to it, I talk about it. If I don't feel like it's, true, I don't really bring it to the internet. Now, there's a video circulating where they're saying is Carmelo getting beat. I don't believe that that's a real video, okay? I have dibbled and dabbled with AI, and I know you can pretty much create anything. That video looks like an AI video, okay? So I don't want to get into, talking about fake shit when I know, or if I feel strongly that it's fake, because what I think happens is we reduce the validity of what really happened when we just really just be like, oh, this is a video of Carmelo being beat. Now, I do really believe something happened to him. I just don't believe that that's a real video. So I know a lot of you guys have been sending me that video. I just don't feel comfortable showing that video because I myself don't believe that it's real. Now, if I believe that it was real, I would say, hey, let's get into this video. But one of the things I want to get into, because before we wrap up here, I'm going to show you guys how these people are connected. And it blew my mind, okay? But what it really made me think, guys, is, again, as I said when I first started this video, is these folks hate us. And it's okay, because they're going to do anything to cover up a crime as it relates to a Black person. And I had to go and look up probable cause, okay? Because I said, well, maybe I don't know what probable cause is, because I feel like that, somebody should be arrested or sitting in prison or something, questioned, On a previous video, I learned that in the state of Mississippi, I think they can lock you up for 2 or 3 days just to question you. And then, of course, none of this happened. So I said, let me look into what probable cause is. Probable cause is a legal standard, meaning the police have enough facts and evidence to believe a crime happened. A specific person committed it, or evidence is in a specific place. It is required under the Fourth Amendment before law enforcement can make an arrest, conduct a search, or get a warrant. Now, as I read that, I said, well, listen, I feel like there's some damn probable cause. Now, I'm not a lawyer. I haven't went to law school. We're going to get the not guilty boys in on this because I'm not a lawyer, but hell, it's given a crime was committed, okay? When I first listened to this video, because you got to listen to this stuff over and over again, but some of y'all listened to it the first time and y'all said, oh, hell to the no, hell no, let me grab my notes. Because some of y'all said, wait a minute. Where my notes at? Y'all wait a second. Let me grab my notes. Where are my, oh, here it is, right here. Right here. Okay, let me grab my little notes here, because some of y'all said, oh, hell no. Hell no. They said, wake the F up. Check his chest. Wyatt, check his chest. Now, that's what y'all said. I didn't hear that. Okay, but I had to go back and listen, because I said, y'all some bad mama jammers, because y'all be on it. Sometimes I just watch so many videos and do so much content. Sometimes I do miss stuff. But listen, we're going to listen to this mug, this joker over and over again, because just listening to that video alone is probable cause, okay? They can arrest everybody on that damn boat, because listen, if we don't know nothing else, it seemed like Nolan lost his life on that boat. Now, did they take him to that swim party that we know occurred? We know the swim party occurred. We know that that was not a lie, because the little white T-boy stated that it actually happened, which makes us wonder, They said Nolan got unalived on the boat. Oh, I'm sorry, at the party. Well, we don't know if he actually got unalived at the party, but I would imagine they probably, after whatever occurred, I don't believe that they pushed his body off the boat. I believe they kept him on that boat and returned him back to the island. In all honesty, this interview that this boy did, he's really telling on himself because we Black folks, we're not dumb. We're not dumb at all. And he said they returned back to the island. You return back to the island, but yet the parents stated that they were trying to get to the island and couldn't get a damn ride. Does that make any sense? And now when you see these people claiming to be Nolan's friends, but being disrespectful to his parents, no, that don't, they were never Nolan's friends. I mean, I had a friend that passed away. I mean, I didn't have any ill will toward her mother, but even if I did, at that point, it would be the wrong time to address it. The fact that they bring in a punk BA, y'all know what that means, punk BA out here pretending to be a victim makes me get, I want to hurt their ass, okay? Because that's just something that I just don't understand, how you're such a filthy individual and you would come for their parents, I mean his parents, but then say if Nolan was alive, he would be furious at his parents. I thought that was really crazy. So as you guys come in, make sure you go ahead and like the video. We're going to get started because I want to listen to the beginning of this call because, oh, another thing I want to point out too, guys. I got something to point out to y'all. Actually, I'm going to share something else with y'all because the video, or I should say the audio that was circulating online, you know what I noticed? I noticed that the news station WLOX News, at the beginning of the call, you guys see where it's coming from? I want you guys to hear the beginning of the call, okay? Because this is going to show you all how these people all work together to cover up evidence, okay? Because at the beginning of the call, this is where you hear a lot of what they're saying. And I was wondering, I said, why did they put this music on here? Well, they put the music on in the beginning to cover up what they said in the beginning. So you're gonna not really be able to hear it, but I just want you guys to hear this part because when I first watched it, I said, why did they add the music? Like, I don't get it. But as I begin to find these calls online, I realized that the news station put the music in the beginning because in the beginning, they're like, check his chest. Is he dead? They heard it as well. Listen to this.
CTO Assistant, Vicky speaking. How can I help you?
Now, I'm going to switch gears. You guys hear how the news station put that shit in the beginning so that you cannot hear what they were saying? When I heard that, I said, what in the hell is the purpose of this? Doom, 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 doom. But I just, again, wanted to show you guys that because they intentionally put that music in the front so that you couldn't hear what actually happened. But we gonna listen to something else. Again, I just wanted to show y'all that they are that they are playing in our faces, okay? But we're gonna listen to this one here.
Saying, listen to the 911 call again. On the 111 mark, you can hear in the background someone saying, no, wake up, Wyatt, check his chest. So I ran this through my editing program. And listen, I am not a pro at audio by all means, but I did try to enhance the background so we can hear more of what was said. I'm going to feature just the parts where you can hear people talking in the background. I want to be very clear. This is my interpretation of the enhanced audio in the background. It is not a confirmed transcript, so please take this with a grain of salt.
All right, the word coming up, sir? Can you give me a description? Hello? Do you need the United States Coast Guard?
No, we do not need that.
All right.
Check his chest. It's very faint. Check his chest. Now it makes sense why she was asking what was going on, because honestly, I didn't really hear it either. And so people pointed it out to me. So you got to understand, the district attorney being able and having all types of equipment, y'all, they already knew this. They're not trying to solve a crime for who did something to Nolan. They're covering it up. Probable cause. This is probable cause. They've been had this information. This is probable cause right here. Check his chest. Check his chest for what? Somebody pointed out that they believed that the purpose of the call was to destroy evidence. And we know that they had to get in contact with their families and they were redirected to do something else.
All right. Do you have your current GPS coordinates?
Let me go look. Try that.
All right.
I know we have a membership like guaranteed. I don't
All
have
right.
the tag
Unless
on
you
here.
have a
We got
membership
ripped off.
number. How many adults, sir? That was the question.
Hey, Lord, this.
All right. How many people, sir?
Like 7.
All right. Thank you. Does everyone have life jackets on or available to them?
Yes, we have life jackets available.
Did you notice that he said 7 people were on the boat and then they counted and it was just 6? Now, another thing I noticed in the full audio, when the dispatcher called the captain of the Coast Guard, the captain said, I just talked to his grandpa and he said he doesn't need a tow.
It sounds like a bunch of kids on board on Horn Island, and he's saying the boat is sinking.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I just actually got off the phone with his grandpa, who I'm guessing is the owner of the boat. And
Is it
he
Jerry?
said that
Mhm.
Jerry. Yeah, he said,
Okay.
I just hung up with him. He said that they don't need any help right now, but if something changes, he'll call me back. So I'm guessing that they may have figured it out, because that's what he said. So they're in a panic and their boat won't crank.
Yeah, they're in a panic.
My question is, why is the grandfather saying, no, they're fine. They don't need a tow?
Now, the reason why I brought up this lady, because she said the same thing I said yesterday. Why in the hell is the grandfather saying they don't need a tow? Does that make any sense? Your children, young or old, call you, we in the middle of the ocean, we sinking. Why in the hell would, as a parent, you tell the people don't go? The grandfather knew something. He knew something had happened on that boat and did not want them to be caught. The grandfather reaches out to the captain and tell the captain, don't go.
And it gets even more confusing because on the Officer Tatum show, Warren was one of the kids on the boat. He was saying that the last time he saw Nolan was 3:00. But then he talks about how when they were leaving at 4:30 and the boat was having issues, they said, Nolan, get the F on.
Now, let me bring a little bit of context to what she's saying. And I talked about this yesterday. Listen, I'm not no damn lawyer, detective, or none of this, but this is all fishy. He says the last time I laid eyes on Nolan was at 3:00. However, he said at 4:30, my friend Wyatt was demanding that Nolan got on the boat. And I said, the thing about liars is very hard to lie and understand what you're saying, that the people you saying it to gonna figure out that you're lying because you are so embedded into telling this lie. How does that make any sense? Did you see him at 3:00 or 4:30? You said the last time you laid eyes on him was at 3:00, but yet you state at 4:30. I heard, what is his name? Is it Warren? Or I don't remember the guy's name. He demanded that he get on the boat. Huh?
Here. And he's like, no, I'm going to stay back. So he would have saw him at 4:30. instead of 3 o'clock, right?
Does that make any sense? How in the hell was your last time seeing him at 3 o'clock, but at 4:30, you heard your friend demanding that he get on the boat? I said, no, wait a minute now. I don't know nothing about this investigation or how they do it, but that's probable cause. You just told a damn lie. You saw him at 3 o'clock laying eyes on him, but then at 4:30, your friend demanded that he get on the boat. So what did the friend say? Oh no, get on the boat. Because you said that the last time you saw him was at 3 o'clock. So I don't understand how that took place if you hadn't saw him. That don't make sense.
The
last time I saw Nolan was 3 o'clock, and Nolan was cradling a girl in his arms, Katie. But when we were leaving, Nolan was sitting by the boat with that Katie girl, and my buddy yelled for Nolan, get on the boat. We're leaving. The boat's having issues. And no, he didn't say that, but he was panicking. Nolan, get the F on the boat. Get on the boat. And Nolan said, no, I'm staying out here. I'm going to ride in with somebody else. And it's not uncommon to hear, but it's not like my buddy asked him one time. My buddy asked Nolan multiple times to get on the boat. Nolan, get on the boat. Get on the boat. We're leaving. If you're coming, you got to come now.
So can y'all make me understand how in the hell is that even possible? How? Like, then you would say, my last time seeing Nolan was at 4:30. When you lie and the lies keep changing, bro, this is probable cause. Why do you keep lying? You see what I'm saying? There is no reason that these boys shouldn't be arrested. You see what I'm saying? The reason why they're not is because they're all working together. And I'm going to show you a little bit later. But I'm going to let this play again without me providing a commentary because I want you guys to hear it all the way through. But the last time you saw him was at 3 o'clock, but yet your buddy was telling him in a forceful way, you need to get your ass back on this boat, which is a lie because typically if someone say that they're staying, you don't demand that they go. But the reason why he's making it seem like he demanded it, because there is a rule whenever you're on a boat, if you leave somebody out there, you can be charged with, I believe, a felony. So what they're trying to do is say, no, we never left him. We demanded that he get on the boat, but he decided to stay.
Attention retirees, if you're willing to be at your computer from 9 a.m. to 10:45 a.m. on most weekdays, I can show you one simple trade that could potentially bankroll your retirement. Hi, I'm Dave Aquino, and I help ordinary people go after their retirement goals sooner by teaching them how to master the retirement trade. This is a special trade designed to be used every morning between 9 a.m. and 10:45 a.m. Eastern Time. Why this window? I can't share that information in this video, but you'll discover the exact reason why inside this free report. Just click the button or link on this video to download this valuable report for free. Click the link now. This video is ending in 5 seconds, so click now.
And Nolan made a decision to stay out on the island.
So what is it? Is the last time you saw him at 3? What is it? This case is literally hurting my brain because nothing makes sense. Okay, so Quan is saying, listen to the 911 call again. On the 111 mark, you can, and listen, I am not a pro at audio by all means, but I did try to enhance the background so we can hear more of what was said. I'm going to feature just the parts where you can hear people talking in the background. I want to be very clear. This is my interpretation of the enhanced audio in the background. It is not a confirmed transcript, so please take this with a grain of salt.
All right, of course. How far is the water coming up, sir? Can you give me a description? Hello? Do you need the United States Coast Guard?
No, we do not need that.
All right. All right. Do you have your current GPS coordinates?
Let me go look. Try that.
All right.
I know we have a membership like guaranteed.
All right. Unless you have a membership number. How many adults, sir? That was the question. All right. How many people, sir?
Like 7.
All right. Thank you. Does everyone have life jackets on or available to them?
Yes, we have life jackets available.
Did you notice that he said 7 people were on the boat and then they counted and it was just 6? Now, another thing I noticed in the full audio, when the dispatcher called the captain of the Coast Guard, the captain said, I just talked to his grandpa and he said he doesn't need a tow.
It sounds like a bunch of kids on board on Horn Island, and he's saying the boat is sinking.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I just actually got off the phone with his grandpa, who I'm guessing is the owner of the boat. And he said that Jerry. Yeah, he said,
okay.
I just hung up with him. He said that they don't need any help right now, but if something changes, he'll call me back. So I'm guessing that they may have figured it out, because that's what he said. So they're in a panic and their boat won't crank.
Yeah, they're in a panic.
My question is, why is the grandfather saying, no, they're fine. They don't need a tow? And it gets even more confusing because on the Officer Tatum show, Warren was one of the kids on the boat. He was saying that the last time he saw Nolan was 3 o'clock. But then he talks about how when they were leaving at 4:30 and the boat was having issues, they said, Nolan, get the F on here. And he's like, no, I'm going to stay back. So he would have saw him at 4:30 instead of 3 o'clock, right?
The last time I saw Nolan was 3 o'clock. And Nolan was cradling a girl in his arms, Katie. But when we were leaving, Nolan was sitting by the boat with that Katie girl, and my buddy yelled for Nolan, get on the boat. We're leaving. The boat's having issues. And no, he didn't say that, but he was panicking. Nolan, get the F on the boat. Get on the boat. And Nolan said, no, I'm staying out here. I'm going to ride in with somebody else. And it's not uncommon to hear, but it's not like my buddy asked him one time. My buddy asked Nolan multiple times to get on the boat. Nolan, get on the boat. Get on the boat. We're leaving. If you're coming, you got to come now. And Nolan made a decision to stay out on the island.
So what is it? Is the last time you saw him at 3 o'clock with the girl or 4:30 when you guys left Nolan and he supposedly said, I'm good, I'm staying here? What is it? This case is literally hurting my brain because nothing makes sense. Okay, so Quan is saying, listen.
Okay, so I wanted you guys to hear that all the way through because she points out some very interesting perspectives. But I also have another one here. So give me a second. Stop sharing.
With Zeely AI, my sales completely took off, and it costs just $1 a day. You just drop your product link, and boom! Zeely scans top-performing examples in your space, generates viral video or static ads tailored perfectly to your brand DNA, and launches your paid promotion in just 2 clicks. No generic AI fluff, just pure high-converting content. I didn't even need a Meta or TikTok account. Zeely provided ready-to-launch ad accounts already trained on thousands of businesses like yours to bring a steady flow of brand new customers from day one. While I focus on shipping orders, Zeely monitors my budget 24/7, killing losing ads and scaling winners. I automated all my sales with this $1 a day AI powerhouse. Take the quiz to get 70% off.
Attention retirees, if you're willing to be at your computer from 9 a.m. to 10:45 a.m. on most weekdays, I can show you one simple trade that could potentially bankroll your retirement. Hi, I'm Dave Aquino, and I help ordinary people go after their retirement goals sooner by teaching them how to master the retirement trade. This is a special trade designed to be used every morning between 9 a.m. and 10:45 a.m. Eastern Time. Why this window? I can't share that information in this video, but you'll discover the exact reason why inside this free report. Just click the button or link on this video to download this valuable report for free. Click the link now. This video is ending in 5 seconds, so click now.
Tito Assistance, Vicky speaking. How can I help you?
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our village pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can you all please come? We have a membership.
All right, of course. How far is the water coming up, sir? Can you give me a description? Ankles? Hello?
Hey.
Yes. How far is the water coming up, sir?
It's coming up. We're just sinking. I don't know. Like we're going down now.
All right. Well, let's get you going. Membership number or phone number listed on the account, sir.
I don't know the phone number. It's either Jerry Atkerson. I think it's Jerry Atkerson. Try that.
All right.
I know we have a membership, like guaranteed. I don't have the tag
Unless
on
you
here.
have a membership number or anything, it's okay. I'll get you over to the captain. What's the best phone number to reach you at?
Reach me at 2.
All right. And is everybody on board in good health otherwise?
Yeah, everybody's
How
on
many?
board.
All right. Do you need the United States Coast Guard?
What?
Do you need the United States Coast Guard?
No, we do not need that.
All right. All right. Do you have your current GPS coordinates?
Let me go look.
If not, I can send you a text message.
North. All right, yeah, you ready?
Yes, sir, I'm available.
North 30 degrees. But 4672.
All right, 4672. All right, and you were breaking up a little bit. Can you just repeat it one more time to make sure I have it correct?
Sorry, look.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, what?
So you're breaking up. If you need assistance, do you have a VHF radio?
No, we do not have the VHF radio.
All right, well, let's try to get you going because you don't have good cell phone reception. Can you verify your coordinates one more time?
Okay, my coordinates are 30 degrees by 14.684 north, and then west by 88 degrees by 46.79.
Right, looks like you're on Horn Island, correct? Are you
Yes,
on
we are
Horn
at Horn
Island?
Island. Yes.
All right, is the boat sinking or you have it aground?
We were sinking, yes.
Is it aground is the question?
No, we're not aground. We are in 17 foot of water. We're in 31 foot of water.
All right, have to ask. What do you want to do? Do you want to be towed back?
I want to get this boat unsank and towed back, yes.
All right, where would you like it towed to, sir?
You can tow it to Ocean Springs Harbor, or Fort Bayou launch.
All right, how many adults and children on board?
No, there's no children.
So, is there anybody on board? How many adults, sir? That was the question. Hello, can you hear me?
Hey, jump in and pull the plug, Bart, while you're going.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Yep, I just need you to answer these questions so I can get you over to the captain.
Okay,
how many
what's
adults
going
on board?
There are 0 adults on board.
There's nobody on board the boat?
No. Nobody here is over the age of 21.
Sir, that was not the question. Is there a person? Is there a person, a living individual on the boat?
Hello?
Is there a living person, someone breathing on the boat? Is there anybody on the boat?
Yes, there's lots of people breathing on the boat.
All right, how many people, sir?
Like 7.
All right, thank you. Does everyone have life jackets on or available to them?
Yes, we have life jackets available.
All right, verify what boat's sinking.
A Triton, 22-foot offshore, 22-foot Triton offshore sea flight hull.
All right. All right. Please hold. I'm transferring you to the local captain now.
Okay, thank you.
So he's muting it. That's a good catch, Natasha Edwards, 9263. So that is why we don't hear anything. He's muting it. Something happened to Nolan on that boat. So it's muted, apparently. We're not hearing anything.
This is Captain Seth.
Hi, Captain Seth. This is Vicky from International. How you doing today?
Doing good. How are you?
Good, good. I apologize ahead of time. I really do. You're going to have a fee for service come up under Jerry.
Okay.
It sounds like a bunch of kids on board on Horn Island. He's letting me know that his father's a member, but he can't give me any information. And he's saying the boat is sinking, and he's on Horn Island. It's just unfortunate. He's just a kid. There's a lot going on. So
Right.
he said there's about a lot of people on board. He says he thinks about 7. I'm guessing they're all under 18.
Okay.
And I'm not trying to be rude. He wants you guys to go out there and unpump the boat and then tow it in.
Do you know what kind of boat it is?
He said I have a Triton 24-footer, but that's all he can give me.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I just actually got off the phone with his grandpa, who I'm guessing is the owner of the boat. And
Is it
he
Jerry?
said that Jerry. Yeah, he said,
Okay.
I just hung up with him. He said that they don't need any help right now, but if something changes, he'll call me back. So I'm guessing that they may have figured it out, because that's what he said. So they're in a panic and their boat won't crank.
Yeah, they're in a panic. He's saying the bill's just not keeping up. I asked for Coast Guard. He said no, but he's just really upset on the back end. And, I get it. It's a kid. He just doesn't understand.
Oh, okay. Do you still have him on the line?
Yes, I still have him on the line. And, again, I couldn't find he couldn't give me anything regarding his grandfather's, membership, so it's just under Jerry fee for service.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I just talked to, if you want to, we're so tied up right now. We can't really do any non-member jobs right now.
Is Jerry a member? Did you find out if he was a member or not?
Yeah, but I'm not sure if it's his boat or what. I'm not sure what's going on with it. But yeah, transfer the kid over. I'll talk to him, and then I'll call his grandpa back as well.
All right. And did you want me to look up Jerry's membership number or anything like that to see if he's up? I know you guys are
You can try this cell phone number.
Yes, sir.
Anything on this phone number?
All right. Yep. Jerry. Yeah, he's an active member. Hold on.
What kind of boat do you have on there? Same boat?
Yeah, he's one of your members. Yep, 22-foot Triton. All right. I'll just disregard this one. I'm gonna send you over an accurate one under this Jerry Ackerson one. Okay, he's one of your members.
Nice catch. I love it. I love it when y'all be catching this bull crap. Treaty Breedy. He knew Jerry had a membership. He just talked to Jerry on the damn phone. Hello. These people are playing freaking games. You see how the captain says, as if he don't know, You just talk to the man over the phone. So you're talking to a stranger on the phone and you don't know he have a membership. See, at this point, the dispatcher is pretty much just doing her job, but the captain know what's up. Okay, so the captain is playing stupid games as if he don't know who these folks is. You just talk to him on the phone. You know exactly who the man is because he just called you and told you they don't need service. So are you just talking to random strangers over the phone without actively looking up the membership? This is what I'm trying to say. Wait till I get to the part where I really show y'all how they connected.
We'll get in a couple minutes, okay?
Okay, perfect. All right. And yeah, just transfer this kid over whenever you get a chance.
All right, transfer him now. Thank you again, Captain.
All righty.
Stay safe out there. It's crazy. Have a drink.
Oh, it's wild. All righty. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Now this is going to be pretty much supposed to transfer and they disconnected the call. Okay. So this is where Cito said we never actually helped them because they responded basically saying they got unsynced is the word that they use. We got unsynced.
Hello? Hello? Are you there? I apologize. I will be disconnecting due to lack of response.
Right. Kendrick Johnson parents been fighting justice for 13 years. Exactly. Now, there is another one that I want y'all to see because this one is fully transcribed. And thank you to the person who just sent it to me. So I want y'all to listen to this one.
Check these out. The classic Paisley bandana made for the real ones. Watch me just throw one on. All right, this whole vibe is just legit. It keeps your hair on lock, plus it's super stretchy so you won't get a headache. It wicks away sweat and it's crazy breathable. You better smash that add to count button. And on top of that, shipping's on us if you order today.
The craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. These are called cooling headscarves. They're so comfortable. I wear these when I'm riding my motorcycle. They're super stretchy. They're machine washable. They're the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. They're only available for a limited time. So if you want to get your hands on these, click the link in the description and get yours before a crazy price.
A regular baseball cap just hides everything, but this actually changes your whole vibe. It lets your hair breathe and leaves 0 forehead indentations. Plus, it's a 5-hack, so you ain't rocking the same one every day. These are flying off the shelves. Free shipping today only.
Connect you.
He's dead. So someone slowed this down. Again, guys, we are not investigators. We ain't police. We're not attorneys. So us finding this, y'all, they already know this. They already know this. They have drawn the conclusion that they are not going to release his autopsy because the autopsy shows what really happened to him. Not only are they not going to release the autopsy, they're not going to send the rest of his organs to be tested. So how is this an investigation? They are protecting people that unalive folks, okay? They just said the boy is dead, okay? I mean, is that not probable cause? Sure, he's dead.
CETO assistant, Vicky speaking. How can I help?
So so I'm assuming when they called, maybe it went to some kind of waiting thing. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how that went, but it was recording them. What are we doing? What are we doing right now? And y'all let these people, these murderers, just be free? and you want everything to be secret whenever it comes to these bitches. If you live in Mississippi, you need to get that governor, send that bitch to the unemployment line. And I'm cussing on the Sunday. Send his bitch ass to the unemployment line. This is disgusting. See, that's why I had to take a break off yesterday, because this is so, this makes me so mad. You see what I'm saying? This is real messed up. This is so messed up on so many damn levels. They said that he did. We don't need to, what else do we need to listen to? Here, I'm gonna just rewind that part because they said it. He's dead.
Connection.
And if you guys are in here, somebody said, do you think Ben Crump watched these videos? You definitely can take the link and share it with them. Share the video. I don't know. I know he, has a team that runs his social media. I don't know. I'm sure they can't watch everything. I'm positive of that. But I would imagine they probably already saw this. I don't know though. But you can definitely send them the link.
Connection.
CTO Assistant, Vicky speaking. How can I help you?
I don't know what else we need to try to figure out. He's dead. That's what they said. What the hell did they do to him on that boat? What did they do to him on the boat? Now, I see what you guys are putting in here repeatedly, and I'm going to check that out. I see y'all, a few of y'all done put in the chat that the tip line go to the judge's damn chambers or going to his mammy. What? Y'all saying in the chat that if you call in the damn tip line that it go to his mammy judge? Whoa. Yeah, they can kiss Ben Crump's ass. They're only mad at Ben Crump because he's fighting racism. That's all it is. It's the typical play. You get the token Negro, the bootlicking ass Negro. In this case, is this dude that did the interview. Now, I don't mind him doing the interview, but do the interview and stop making it seem like the parents is evil. You got to be, it's a special place in hell for people like that. But I don't know what else to say, guys. He's dead. This is what they said. So we know, if we didn't know anything else, they said he was dead on the boat. This is what they said. So we don't need to speculate about the pool party. Who knows? Maybe they did take his body back to the pool. I don't know about that. But we heard them say he's dead. He's dead. Yes, I did see part 5 of that interview. I sure did. I did. And I'm talking about the interview with Race Tatum.
Connection.
They just say he's dead like they're used to doing shit like this. Have y'all ever heard some shit like this? They're like, is he dead? How many times have they done this? They're like, oh, is he dead? That's crazy. Y'all, I'm not surprised. I'm telling y'all, I'm not surprised. See, y'all, or some people seem to think white is right. These are the same folks who had slaves and was doing things to women, men, and children. I'm not surprised. They're diabolical. They're nasty. They've been nasty. They just try to put it on us like we nasty. It's been them the whole time. I'm surprised. I'm not surprised. He's dead. There would be no way in hell that I would be able to cover up somebody died and just live my life. These people are filthy. It's in their DNA. Like if your history of your grandfather and your great grandfather are men, women, and children, this is in your DNA. This is what you do. This is what they do. Is he dead? And just live your life. But all of them say he was such a great person, but apparently not great enough to live. I mean, you didn't even try to save his life. Did y'all hit him in the back of the head? Like, what happened on this boat? He's dead. And then they somewhere celebrating their life, telling a whole lie.
To connect you.
CETO Assistant, Vicky speaking. How can I help you?
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our village.
Whoa, let me get to this super chat. They always try to protect their own. When a Black person commit a crime, they have his address, where he worked at, where he went to school, an up-to-date picture. When it's them, no photo, nothing. Oh, thank you, Gelato3299 for the 1999 super chat. Not only do they do that, they put let me show you what else they do. Okay, and then also when they're accused of a crime, this is what they do. This is what they do. They put pictures like this. Oops, wait a minute. I got to take something out, but this is another thing they do. So they protect even their criminals, unalivers, such as these people. And then they give us pictures like, oh boy, come on, quit playing with me. They give us pictures with blurred images so that we can't see their faces, is what they do. Why is this acting crazy? So give me a second here. Let me remove this. So they give us blurred image pictures, but when it's us, even if we're not even, we may be even innocent, but they drag our face through the damn mud. And I've been telling people forever, y'all have to start loving yourself for who you are. To share a new image, please remove one of the, why is it telling me that? 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. Dang. Oh, here we go, right here. Oh, I done added it a few times. Okay, so look at this picture right here. I want y'all to see this. Y'all see this picture? They done blotted out the people faces. Isn't this some bullshit? This is what these folks do. And what y'all need to understand, and what I was originally trying to say is, y'all have to love yourself and stop looking for acceptance from these hoes, okay? Just to think the police, FBI had this audio before us and no arrest, nothing. Bingo, Lace 4349. Thank you for your $5 super chat. That's what I want y'all to understand. We ain't figured out nothing. I mean, we just got it. They've been had this. They've been had this. While y'all saying, why haven't they made any arrests? They're not going to make any arrests. Like, what the hell? Like, at the end of the day, they could bring people in. Why are they not bringing these folks in? Why? Allow them to destroy evidence, not releasing the autopsy. Why they not releasing the autopsy? But this is what they're doing. Let me show y'all what they're doing. Why you think that they're going to do something, they're not. Okay? They're saying, oh, we're conducting an investigation. Oh, they even did this bullshit right here. This what they did.
District Attorney for the 19th Circuit Court District of Mississippi. I want to talk directly to the people of Jackson County. Our community is grieving the tremendous loss of Nolan Wells, who is loved and treasured by everyone. Nolan's family deserves answers, and our community deserves answers. Every death in the county, except those of natural causes and non-criminal car wrecks, are presented to your grand jury. Many people don't know that. We have handled death investigations in this manner my entire career. Nolan's case is being handled the same way, with the same care and the same commitment to the truth that we handle all death investigations. I understand the public's urgency to know what happened to Nolan, but we are not taking time for time's sake. We are taking the time required to complete the work this investigation demands. Since Nolan was reported missing, local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies have worked around the clock investigating what happened to him. Every piece of evidence must be examined. Every credible lead must be followed to its conclusion. Every witness interview must be analyzed in context of all other evidence. The pressure for answers does not change what the work requires. Our responsibility to Nolan and our community is to complete this investigation thoroughly, carefully, without compromise, supported by the evidence and worthy of the confidence of the people we serve. I also understand that many people have questions about why more information has not been released publicly. In Mississippi, the rules of professional conduct restrict the information a prosecutor can release during an investigation. Our restraint in communicating facts and evidence is not an effort to keep the truth from the public. It is an effort to protect the integrity of this investigation and the grand jury proceeding. As your district attorney, I have an ethical obligation to avoid public statements that could influence witnesses, prejudice a proceeding, or compromise the fairness of the legal process. My obligation extends to and requires me to use reasonable care to ensure investigating agencies avoid making those statements and releasing information as well. These rules exist to protect the search for the truth, not to prevent it. As divided as the discussion surrounding Nolan's death has become, I know we all want the same thing, to understand what happened to Nolan. With that being our shared goal, we must also share in the goal of protecting the integrity of how the truth is discovered. If we sacrifice the integrity of the process in effort to satisfy today's questions, we risk undermining the confidence in tomorrow's answers. When the public asks, what about this, or have they looked at that, or did they think about this? The answer is yes. Those are the same questions investigators ask. The difference is that we can't publicly discuss the evidence, the interviews, or what those efforts have uncovered while the investigation is underway. Again, our restraint in sharing details of the investigation is not a refusal to share the truth. It is our commitment to protect the process that allows the truth to be known with confidence. There's a lot of information out there, and there is a heck of a lot of misinformation out there. I simply want the community I serve to know that this investigation is being handled with the care, professionalism, and commitment to the truth that every family in Jackson County deserves. As we continue this important work, Nolan's family, his friends, and all who loved him remain in our prayers.
I built this website in 5 minutes with Wix Harmony. So I came across this image recently and thought to myself, what if I built an entire brand around this? And so I opened up Wix Harmony with one goal, to see how quickly I could turn a random idea into a real online business. I typed in this prompt and then Wix Harmony started building the site. And in less than a minute, this is what it created. Honestly, it already looked
I just saw that comment, and I'm going to try not to cuss. So let me say this in a very nice way, because this shit makes me very upset. Okay. I wouldn't give a what they say. I'm going to say what I want to say. And guess what? I love suing people. So please F with me. Please do. Because I need a few dollars in my bank account. I'm going to keep talking about it. As a matter of fact, I gave myself a target. I said 20 videos between now and Sunday so they can kiss my big fat. Okay. Ain't nothing stopping here, hoes. Okay. I wouldn't give a what they say. Okay. Now, this is where the bullshit comes in. This hoe, because that's what she gonna be today, because I'm pissed off. She brings her beige face ass on here trying to make it seem like, oh, we're investigating the case and we're doing everything. Okay, if you're investigating the case, why your crooked teeth ass governor with his racist ass, why is he making statements like this? But keep in mind, she just stated as a official of whoever this whole consider herself to be, because we consider her as nothing because she ain't doing shit. You're not doing shit. But they say, oh, I can't make statements. Well, what
Commissioner of the Department of Public Safety has been in contact with those individuals. Obviously, the autopsy was done by the State Medical Examiner's Office at the Department of Public Safety. I personally know Sheriff John Ledbetter from Jackson County very well. I have not personally spoken to him. I have full confidence that he is going to do his job. And what I will simply say is I don't know all of the details. I don't know all of the.
Is this not a public statement? Oh, I get it. These hoes think they can make statements. They think they can make statements. Is this not a public statement? This rotten teeth ass governor who's going around here threatening people? Is this not, I'm curious, is this not him making a statement saying that there's no foul play? But didn't the district attorney just say she can't make statements? I'm confused.
Facts surrounding the case. I have yet to see a fact or a piece of evidence that suggests any foul play.
He have yet, with his racist ass, Governor Tate, y'all need to get rid of this bitch. Okay? Y'all need to get rid of this hoe. He has yet to see any evidence of foul play. Tell me, why would he be saying that? I'm going to tell y'all why he's saying it. Because he is directly connected to this bullshit. Y'all want to know why he giving statements? I'm about to show y'all in a minute. I'm about to show you why he's giving statements. This really reminds me so much of the Carmelo Anthony case. This is why he's giving statements.
But if there is, I feel confident that the
What if I told you that every time a bank declines a small business loan application, that could represent an opportunity for you to get paid? So give me 2 minutes and hear me out, because this is probably the most overlooked business opportunity.
Sheriff's Office, the District Attorney's Office, the members at the Department of Public Safety that deal with these crimes, if there had been one, they will find it and they will do what is necessary.
So this piece of shit ass governor, okay, I gotta jump down now because I gotta show y'all who this hoe is, okay? Wait a minute, is that Governor Tate, raggedy ass, rotten teeth ass? Why he with the guy from the Cajun Navy? Ain't that kind of weird? Wait a minute. Oh, I get it now. Wait a minute. Is that not him with this dude from the Cajun Navy? These guys are all linked together. I want y'all to understand, okay? They're all linked together. Now, you remember, I'm going to jump around a bit. The guy from the Cajun Navy told a lie on Ben Crump. Ben Crump ain't a troublemaker. He's doing the job that he was hired to do. He's not an ambulance chaser. He, represent people that reach out to him. Okay. So now it makes sense. Governor Tate and this Cajun Navy guy, I told y'all that this mother effer, this Cajun Navy, listen, I've been around for a long time. I know when people are full of shit. It don't take me long to figure them out. You know what character a person is by the way that they conduct themselves and what they say and what they do. This man, okay, supposed to be, he's going out there searching for Nolan. So he says, that during the time his body was found, that the parents were restricted from his body, okay? But yet he takes a picture of a deceased person and goes to different platforms, giving them that picture without providing it to the parents, after the parents had already stated, if you have any information, send it to their lawyer. When I saw that, I said, this man is full of shit. He's full of shit. And then he lied. Instead of owning what he did and said, listen, we made a mistake. He went after Ben Crump. So now we have a tie in this bullshit, because he has a picture, and let me just look at the time. This picture says 258 damn weeks. It says, I think it says 2021. So this Cajun Navy guy is tied to this governor. He's tied to the governor. They friends. Again, they're all together. If y'all watch the interview that boy did with racist, whatever they call him, this man that he did this interview with, he stated that he's been coming to that island since he was a kid. Yeah, Brandon Tatum or whatever. He's been coming to the island since he's been a kid. So you got to know that there's some kind of relationship there. So this is what the racist governor does.
Are so forthcoming.
AI is only overwhelming when you start. Here's a practical first step and the easiest way to implement it into your life.
The racist governor attacks Ben Crump, basically saying Ben Crump is caught in yet another lie. Not the first time he has lied about Mississippi. What is Ben Crump? Why are you attacking Ben Crump? You're attacking Ben Crump because Ben Crump, you think Ben Crump got us talking about it, but we were talking about it anyway, and we're going to keep talking about it, ho. You ain't going to stop shit. And I want y'all to with me, because I'm telling you, I'm about to sue somebody next week. Anybody do something to me, I'm suing them, because I thought about it. I'm not going to keep wasting my energy on hoes. I'm just going to sue them, because then I get to get a check for pain and suffering, okay? So that's me. I'm suing everybody. You do anything to me, I'm going to sue you, okay? So I want y'all to fuck with me, because I need more money in my bank account. I got some stuff that I need to do, okay? So this is what your sour teeth ass put out to Ben Crump, because you work for the state, but it look like you need your teeth clean, look like your breath stank too. So you put this out about Ben Crump, saying that Ben Crump is lying on Mississippi, and then say, thank you to the United Cajun Navy for setting the record straight. Well, the United Cajun Navy was the one that said it anyway. Ben Crump just said what they said. So if they made a mistake or lied, it was on them to correct it. You say Jackson County Law Enforcement and the Mississippi Department of Public Safety is conducting an investigation, and I'm confident both will deal with the facts of the case, wherever the facts lead them. But you're making statements saying that there was no foul play, you big dummy with this red ass toupee. So why are you making statements, you dumb racist, about there's no foul play? Because although we don't take you seriously because you're another dumbass racist, some people take you seriously, okay? And you making these type of statements is very harmful to an investigation, but yet you want to go after an educated Black man that can buy your whole life. Because I don't give a damn what y'all say about Ben Crump, okay? Y'all can talk about Ben Crump all you want. You white tees wish that you have half the brains that he has, okay? That's why you're really mad. The autopsy from the state medical examiner will be completed at the appropriate time. Well, ho, it is July 26th. When is the appropriate time, and what are you waiting on? Okay? You need to speed that shit up. And that may be the next set of facts seen in this case. Meanwhile, Crump and Sharpton and their whatever don't care about the facts. Whatever. You're just covering up for these white folks. So this is what he sent out, trying to threaten Ben Crump. We don't give a damn about you hump A's. We tired of y'all shit, okay? So he puts this out to threaten an educated Black man because you're mad and you wish that you had half the brain that Ben Crump has. You're mad. Stay mad, ho, because we ain't stopping. And now, since I see y'all putting this bullshit out, I'm going to do 30 videos today. So I'm about to work my ass off. Okay. So this is what he sends out to try to threaten Ben Crump. Ho, it ain't going to work. Okay. It ain't going to work. So let's just get into it.
The fact that they told us, we haven't heard from any of their local officials, that Nolan was found face down, fully clothed. Well, that's significant to us because the last time we saw him on the videos, he was without a shirt. So at what point did he put on a shirt? Somebody saw something. Somebody knows something. There were almost 300, 400 people. Somebody knows something.
Craft. Now, Ben Crump again, he's just quoting what these, these Cajun Navy folks, I believe they racist too. I mean, I'm just saying, like, you cannot be all looped up with these races and not be one yourself. I don't give a damn how you present yourself. I'm going by how you're acting. And let's just get into it.
On the beach, you see a grouping of individuals. Now, from another source, we have obtained photos of Nolan's body that we are not showing. It's just not right. But I can tell you, when you see that grouping of people on the beach, they look like little ant figures from this high up above, but that is where Nolan's body is. They're standing around it. As I recall, Todd Terrell, Nolan was face down, still fully clothed on the beach. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. He was face down, which would have meant that he drowned. Now, when we say he was found fully...
Check this out. This is a cold plunge tub, and it sells from $8,000 to $15,000. And this is an infrared sauna. It sells from $8,000 to $20,000. Both of these ship directly from the brand to the buyer. You never have to see them, you never have to touch them, yet you can still make thousands of dollars every time one sells. And I'm gonna show you exactly how this works. So products like these sell for...
He was face down, fully clothed. Ben Crump never said that. He repeated what you dumbasses said. So instead of you taking responsibility for what you said, you blame the Black person. This is what they do. They never take accountability. And as we saw with the son, with his psychotic ass, he blames Nolan. And clearly we hear that y'all did something to him on the boat, which he lied and said he wasn't even on the boat. And I hear the people saying his name. So this is what they do. They become victims all the time. For instance, they are being threatened. Y'all know, as Black folks, we don't do goofy shit like that. We're not sitting up sending people threatening messages. That's just not what we do. So lady, if you're being threatened, I'm sure it's from somebody that look like you. We don't do shit like that. So all of this threat stuff, I don't believe it either. All they do is become victims in situations that they created. Watch the pattern. They do it all the time. When I see it now, I just laugh and I hang up on hoes. I hang up on them and I cuss them out because you cannot play this bullshit game with me. I already know how it goes. I already know you don't get to play victim when you're white around me almost in no time. Okay, I don't want to hear your victimization and all of your bullshit. You guys have lived in a world where you think that you're superior and you ain't. You just not.
I can tell you, when you see that grouping of people on the beach, they look like little ant figures from this high up above, but that is where Nolan's body is. They're standing around it. As I recall, Todd Terrell, Nolan was face down, still fully clothed on the beach. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. He was face down, which would have meant that he drowned. Now, when we say he was found fully clothed on the beach, it was in the same vicinity of where he possibly drowned. right there. So it was not uncommon for the body to have washed up right there. That being said, that area full of rip currents really strong right there, goes from 2 to 3 foot to 20 feet pretty much within a couple steps. So that being said, whatever happened really, really close to where the body was found.
You know, Todd Terrell, but isn't it true to you, Brian Trasher, Vice President, United Cajun Navy? The Navy participated in the search, and I got to clear up that whole thing about fully clothed with you. That said, isn't it true? And I'm looking at the picture on.
So this is what, you know, a lot of Black folks, they love Nancy because now they're like, oh, she's talking about it. F Nancy, okay? Y'all need to stop looking for white saviors. Nancy talked about Nolan Wells for a couple of days until them white folks got in her inbox. She already said they had been sending her all type of hate mail and she moved on. Stop looking for these white tea ass saviors. It's disgusting and y'all starting to get on my damn nerves. You're all in Nancy. Oh, Nancy Grace, Nancy Grace. Nancy don't give a F-U-C-K about Nolan. She only cared about the money she could make. Even in this particular situation, Nancy wants to correct it. Lady, he the one that said it. But instead of saying, hey, you made an error, you want to just correct what you said, she skates around the shit and still seemingly try to make it seem like it was being crunk. This is what I don't like about them. This is one of the things I don't like about them. And her too.
On my phone that I got from an undisclosed source, I'm looking at Nolan's body on the beach. We are not showing it.
She's looking at Nolan's body on the beach. Who do you think she got the picture from?
He's face down, isn't he?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, he was when we flew over.
Okay, I'm going to come back to you about the clothing.
Yeah.
What? Repeat?
No, I said when we observed him from the air, yeah, he was face down and he was wearing swim trunks and only swim trunks. I think that the term fully clothed just got taken out of context.
Well,
No, it didn't get taken out of context. Your people said it. So your people said it. There's nothing to take out of context. Accept what you said and move on. If you misspoke, just say it. Why do these people, why come they can never take accountability and responsibility for what they said? Your folks said that he was fully clothed. If he had on swim trunks, I don't know why y'all said that. You all are suspect as well.
When you look at the body from high up, it appears at first like he had on a shirt with swim trunks, but he does not have on a shirt. He only has on swim trunks. That's a whole peripheral issue. But back to Dr. Kendall Crowns.
So again, I didn't like how she explained that because all y'all had to do was take accountability. Let me read some of these super chats. Patrice Wool W. That sounds like an adult woman's voice on the call saying he's dead, not a teen girl. Not a teen girl voice. Well, here's the thing, Patrice. You know that there were adults. Where are these adults?
Listen, what if you can start your own lending business, helping other businesses get access to capital, funding?
They won't mention who they were, but there were adults. But for some reason, we don't get to know that either. We don't get to know that. I'm sorry, I read that one already. Noah is my only daughter. He didn't mean to let us know that he had all his clothes on. And I believe Nancy knows he had his clothes on because she's seen the picture. Again, we don't know. Nancy is one of them too. I mean, she may talk about the Nolan Wells case, but if you guys recall, she had somebody on her show. I think it was a Secret Service Sam guy, and he went into saying how Black people are always treated wrong, and she went off on him. Did y'all see that part? She told him, don't come on her show talking about politics. I'm telling y'all, I don't pay these people no attention. Black Williams Robinson, 1973. Black people, are we awake now? This is our turn in history. We have not made it. We cannot get weary. We need to draw strength from each other. Ida B. Wells would demand it. A crime against us is a crime against all of us. And that is exactly how I look at it. Okay, a crime against you is one against me, because I feel like had you or had Nolan been another color, we wouldn't be here now. We wouldn't be talking about this, or we'll be saying, you know, how they're in jail and how they're facing these, you know, different crimes and stuff. So it infuriates me. Kenneth Whitley, thank you for the $10. And Emily Blackwell, thank you for joining our membership. I got to get a video out this week. Christine Jones, 9292. Why can't we get the dispatch call from the grandpa unless it was a personal call? It should be available if he placed a call also, right? Well, Christine, he probably called the captain on his personal phone. Okay. That's what I'm thinking. He called the captain from his personal phone. Now, they could get it, but again, they're not trying to solve this. They're trying to destroy evidence. People saying that now they saying you're going to get in trouble if you talk about this. They can kiss my arms, because I'm going to talk about what the hell I want to talk about. Okay, I'm waiting to sue my second person. Okay, because this is only revenue for me. Don't stop me. I'm gonna talk about what the hell I want to talk about. You got an old pedo president that's talking about all type of shit. Okay, yeah, it ain't happening over here. Warren Judge Sally O'Malley, Warren Judge Pops. Nolan's body went back to Horn Island 7-5. I mean, yeah, that's what I think too. Gelato 3299, get ready for the cause of death. It's either going to be he choked on a chicken bone or something to do with, yeah, definitely gonna be something to do with drugs. He's already putting that in the atmosphere. Oh, he was so drunk. Yeah, your friend was so drunk. You testifying to people dying on the island, but you casually just say you left from there. Oh, okay. All right then. Lace 4349, just to think the police, FBI, I think I read this one already, but yeah, they had this information the whole time. The whole time. Yep, they sure did. And said nothing. Nothing. Nothing was said. Nope. Because again, I don't believe they have any intentions on doing anything. And that's just how I feel about it. I don't think they have any intentions on doing anything. Wait a minute, let me take that down. Now, where was I? We know, that Ben Crump has responded because, of course, Ben Crump he didn't do nothing. He really did. So here, Ben Crump basically said, like, where is the lie? I got to mute it because of the music. But basically what Ben Crump states is, the Mississippi governor attempted attacks on me ring hollow in the face of the actual evidence. Where's the evidence? What are you doing? You want to attack the family's attorney? Oh, that's giving racist. Okay, what are you attacking him for? Makes no sense. And you are the governor, so why are you so wrapped up in this case? Like, you're not the district attorney. You see what I'm saying? But when you're working together with the folks, it makes sense. He said, when Nancy Grace asked United Cajun Navy President Todd Terrell on her July 20th episode of Crime Stories whether Nolan Wells was found face down and fully clothed on the beach, he said what, y'all? He said yes. That is the record. This has never been about casting aspersions or attacking anyone. Our sole purpose is to uncover the truth on behalf of our clients, the family of Nolan Wells, and to determine what happened to their son while he was on Horn Island on July the 4th. See, this is what they do. This is typical behavior. You mad because
I just got paid $62,000 for my car accident using nothing but this.
Everybody is talking about it, and now we about to turn this shit up, okay? Who the you think we are? We ain't our ancestors. Them probably was the nicest people you gonna ever meet. We way more gangster, okay? We way more gangster. So I don't know what you thought with your Chaz. You done pissed me off. And it's Sunday. And you done pissed me off. Who the do you think you talking to? With your toupee wearing ass and your messed up teeth, that you gonna come for the family's attorney. Who does that? They do. Typical white folks, always playing victim. You have parents, they already lost their son. They just really trying to find out what happened. But we're so close and we ringing justice. We ain't backing down. Everybody talking about it. And we gonna keep talking about it. We ain't stopping. And y'all need to get his toupee denture wearing ass. He don't need to be the governor. He got to go. Send him to the employment line. Send him to the employment line. He's talking about Ben Crump.
Search for this young star athlete, Nolan Wells, tonight. Mystery swirling around his death. How is it that a group of his friends go out on a boat? They go to a remote Horn Island. There is nobody there. It's uninhabited. How does he end up dead on the shore and everybody else makes it back? As I recall, Todd Terrell, Nolan was face down, still fully clothed on the beach. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. He was face down, which would have meant that he...
Again, we can't make this shit up. We cannot make this up. You coming after Ben Crump for what? What did Ben Crump lie about? So you want to say Ben Crump has created a race situation? No, ho, you did. You're still creating it. You're out here just running your diarrhea mouth, talking about there was no foul play. In fact, y'all said it right after you fouled him. How do you know there's no foul play when you haven't even done anything? Oh, we know why you say it's no foul play, because you're friends with these folks. Since 2021, as far as I can see, y'all been friends. This guy from the Cajun Navy, he has pictures with almost every political opponent that you can think of. He has his pictures where he was invited, showing the envelopes to the White House. He's got pictures with Dusty Donald Trump. These people are all working together, is what I want y'all to understand. Okay. This Cajun Navy guy is trash. He's trash. How is it that you are going around sharing pictures of a person who lost their life, all while the family is searching for answers, but yet you have pictures in your phone and you don't share it with the family? But then you say, oh, well, if they want this, they should reach out to me. How would the family know that your weird ass have a picture of their deceased son in your phone? It's rather weird, by the way. You know, I wouldn't want a picture of my closest loved one in my phone deceased. I just want to remember them how they were. But the fact that you have a stranger, because you didn't know Nolan Wells, you have a picture of his body in your phone. Is that what you MAGA nuts do? Have pictures of deceased Black people in your phone and you just share it all around? It's giving some weird ass shit. Now, I want to get into this video where he basically confirms that he has pictures of unalive Nolan Wells in his phone, and that pretty much, no, he didn't share it with the family, because if the family wants it, they need to reach out to him. What type of shit is that?
Did you take any images or document that moment?
So I started taking images of the scene on the ground. There were several law enforcement boats and personnel. And later on, when I looked at the pictures and zoomed in, I noticed that you could actually see the body laying on the shoreline in those pictures. I was not trying to take a picture of the body at the time, but it ended up being captured in the wide angle.
And what exactly do you see in the photos?
I see a body that matches the description of Nolan Wells, laying face down at the shoreline, right at the water's edge. And he was wearing swim trunks and, was, not moving, obviously. It just looked like he was sleeping on the beach.
Now knowing that the family is looking for any information about his body being discovered that day and washing up on shore, do you plan to hand over these photos and these images to the family or to their team?
Ready to go to the gym?
I got one more set and then I'm down.
Oh my god, I wish my boyfriend had abs like that. Is that a 10-pack?
Something like that.
What do? He does like sit-ups.
Oh, sit-ups? It's not good because you mostly use your hip flexors and you're going upward with momentum. It's not the best ab workout. I just use an ab roller.
What? Why does it look like that?
Well, this is the upgraded one. So, have you seen one like this?
Yeah.
Well, this, when you go out, you have to use your arms, shoulders, back. It takes away from your ab workout. This, you put your elbows on the pads. It isolates your core. So you're only using your abs for the best workout. This thing's insane. It's like 3 times more tension than that.
Well, where did you find that?
It's from TikTok Shop. Really fire too because it comes with a cushion knee pad so your knees don't hurt.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's obviously images that I hope that his family never has to see. However, anything, and I want to repeat this, anything that Christine and Elmore want from the United Cajun Navy, we will not tell them no. We will give them whatever they want, anytime they want. All they have to do is ask.
So once they ask you, you will then hand over anything that you do have and any information.
Once they ask him, he will hand over. So tell me this. Why would a hurt family have to say, let me reach out to this buster and get the picture of my son? Wouldn't you automatically say, let me just send them these pictures? So y'all got to listen to what is not being said. He thinks he's superior. He a damn Mexican. Some of them think that they whites, okay? They think they white folks. For some reason, they, that's what they want to be. I'm happy being black, brown. If I were to come back, I would be the same color, okay? Because all of them want to be just like us. Why would the parents have to say, hey, dumbass, yeah, can you send out, do you have any pictures of Nolan? That don't even make any sense. Why would the parents think that you have a picture of their son? To me, it's weird. I think you're a weirdo. I don't want those type of pictures in my phone of anybody. But he will give them the pictures as long as they reach out to him.
Information that you have from that day.
That's correct.
Why didn't your team communicate to the family about what you saw that day?
Yeah, I just didn't think that it would be helpful to his mom as she was just finding out that her son was dead, that I saw the body. Human curiosity is gonna probably ask me to describe what I saw, and I just think that would have made it worse. Certainly wasn't trying to hide anything from her, and as a matter of fact, I was 400 feet in the air, and there was plenty of law enforcement on the scene right there with his body. So anybody could have, described what they saw and what they saw up close. Now, later on, I found out that they were not given access to the body and all that kind of stuff. And maybe it could have been helpful if I just told them the little bit that I knew, but I didn't know that at the time.
This guy is so full of shit. So we got 2,823 people in the chat. We got 1777 from my Keisha channel and about 1,052 from the Keisha TV channel. I need y'all to tap on that like button. I need you all to like the video. I need you to share the video. I need you to enable your bell notifications and make sure you guys are subscribed. So this guy says, well, it was, police there. They could have told them about the picture. What are you talking about? If you took pictures of their deceased loved one, why do you feel like you can just have that picture? That is so disrespectful. It's so disrespectful that somebody needs to tap your ass. That's so very disrespectful to the deceased. Keep in mind, we all got to go down that road. One day we all gonna leave here. I wish the same for those people. I wish the same for those people. So you gonna take a picture of somebody deceased loved one and then pass the shit around like they just ain't shit. I wish the same for you and your family. Okay. I wish the exact same. As a matter of fact, I wish worse. I wish worse. It's time for these people to reap what they sow. But then you're gonna bring your funky ass over here and talk shit and say, well, if they ask me for it, I'll give it to them. Why do they need to ask you for it, weirdo? That's a stink attitude. He thinks he's superior. He thinks he's better. That's not nothing a regular person would say. A regular person would just give over the pictures. But I want y'all to understand it's something tied to you taking a picture of a Black person having it in your phone. Y'all remember they was taking pictures of Kobe Bryant and his daughter. These people are weird. They're weird. Abigail says, I believe he placed the body on the beach. He is trying to control the narrative. Listen, Abigail, I'm not saying he didn't. As a matter of fact, I think he has more involvement than what he cares to say because he has a problem now with being crunk. And generally, if you're not in this, in this situation, why do you just take up a problem with somebody? So you have a problem because the parents are trying to find out what happened to their son? Seems like you would only have a problem if you had something to do with it. And them finding justice.
If this doesn't work for you, we promise a 10-fold refund immediately. Yes, you heard that right. A 90-day risk-free guarantee, or you get 10 times your money back. We are that confident. This cosmetic denture can be successfully worn in just 1 second and is suitable for everyone. Whether you have complete teeth, partial missing teeth, or no teeth at all, you don't need adhesives, dentists, or appointments. Just soak it in hot water to activate the elastic material. Bite it to fit your
What reveal what the hell you did. That's just what I think. You're sounding very weird taking pictures of a deceased person. Did you need to send that picture to somebody or something? It seems weird. Seems very weird. Lena Green, thank you for the $5. Okay, I read that one. Now, I got a lot of jewels here, y'all. It's like so many. So with the jewels, I can't read all these. So if you send 500, I'm gonna be able to read it. But the rest, I cannot read all of these. It's like way too many. So for the jewels, if you send, I'm gonna say 400. How about that? If at least 400, I'm gonna read it because I cannot read all of these. So at least if you send 400, I'm gonna be able to read it. Okay, Trace Strong Duhan, thank you for the 440 jewels. Then we got, I can't read, what the heck did it say? Zamara, maybe 440 jewels. Thank you so much. Let's see. But y'all, we're not letting up. And see, I like when people talk shit. Cause I'm about to go to the spa and I'm finna lay out my whole week. I'm doing 20 videos and lives between now and the 31st. Okay. So that's 20. That's 5, 10, 50, 20. So that's not really that much because it's really, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 6 days. So it's really not a lot. But I don't take kind to threats, and I don't give a fuck. Okay, because I'm not nobody that you can threaten. Okay, I'm not scared of nobody, but God. That's about it. And definitely ain't scared of no funky hunky. Okay, definitely not. See, because if I was back in the days. Listen, I would have been for all the bullshit. All right. My ancestors already went through it. I ain't the motherfucking one. Okay. Yeah, you ain't even the police. Why you taking pictures? Seemed like did he need to provide somebody a picture that showed that he was really dead? It's weird. These people are all working together. They're all working together. A picture of the Cajun Navy guy 2021, having lunch with this buster ass governor Tate Reeves, the old racist. Get him up out of there. He's a racist. I said what I said. That's what I believe, and folks believe it too. There he is. Pictures with the old dusty governor. Here's him again. With the Louisiana, is it the Louisiana governor, Jeff Landry, with another governor. There's another picture of him. Here's another picture of the dude, that Cajun Navy guy, at the West Wing of the White House, celebrating Donald Dusty Trump, I believe. Don't quote me on that one, but he is at the White House. He shares this picture. This is a 2017 postmark invitation to the White House. He shares this. Here's another one, another postmark. 2018. Trump's State of the Union or some shit like that. He's very affiliated with Donald Trump, you know. These people don't like Black folks. It's very important that y'all know this. I know people voted for Trump. I don't know why y'all, I don't even know why any Black person would vote for Trump, but it is what it is. It is what it is. I tried to tell y'all, listen, I get it. Some of y'all didn't like, what's her name? Kamala. But baby, if Donald Trump was the next choice, I was going to pick Kamala 1,000 times. I get it. Some people say, oh, the choices is just bad. But it's like when you go to the store to buy something, and let's say they out of what you have, and you have to pick the next option, or you just don't get nothing. This is how it works with politics. Every time we don't get exactly what we want, and in all honesty, regardless to who you pick, nobody is you. Nobody is going to be you. You know, some people are going to have some of what you know, values that you have. Some people going to have none of the values. But you all elected a racist president. Look at the shit we're going through. You know, this guy, Brian Trasher, is all on his social media. He's a sold out MAGA pedo supporter. Okay. Here is him again with the lieutenant governor. I don't really know who these people are, so I would have to look it up. But at this point, it really doesn't matter. The purpose of this video is I wanted to show you all that this man is more than who he says he is. He's very much politically connected. He's very much politically connected. And not only is he politically connected, he's connected to the very man that's trying to threaten
Check this out. So these are called hyperbaric chambers. And I think in the future, most rich people are going to have these in their homes. Now, the #1 company who makes these is called Oxynova. In the US, these things cost anywhere from $15,000 all the way up to $40,000. But here's the reason this caught my eye. I think there is a massive opportunity. So these things are exploding in demand and they're getting more popular than ever before. But here's the best part. Oxynova will actually let you sell their products on your own website. So there are over 20 million millionaires in the USA alone who would love to have one of these in their house. And the best part about partnering with Oxynova is you never have to see or touch an item. All you have to do is set up a website, list their products, and then when you make a sale, they will ship the product to your customer without you ever seeing or touching it. You have no cost to get started, and you don't need any prior experience. So rather than asking you to DM me and trying to explain everything over messages, what I did was I put together a completely free training that shows you the 3 key steps to doing this yourself. So if anyone out there wants to learn how to use AI to sell high-ticket luxury products, even as a beginner, then there should be a link below this video somewhere. It's totally for free. So if you want to check it out, tap the link below. I'll show you exactly how this works. And maybe one day we can partner together and sell these high-ticket expensive products as a partnership. Tap the link below and I'll tell you exactly how it works.
Turns out you should never sue the driver who crashed into you after a car accident. There's a much better way you could get paid a way bigger.
Ben Crump. And Ben Crump ain't doing nothing but his job. He was hired to get justice for a family, and that's what he's doing. But to be attacked, but if y'all was paying attention here, there's a connection, because this Cajun Navy guy also came after Ben Crump. Why would the guy who is seemingly helping in the search for the missing individual, Nolan Wells, why you mad? So you're saying parents are not supposed to care about what happened to their child? As parents, we know when some shit is off. We know when something doesn't go together. We know this. And it's always a token Black or a couple of them that the white tees use, because if I can get some Black folks over here to say that everything was right, they gonna believe it. No, we don't believe that shit. That is the oldest trick in the book. Y'all really need to come up with some more tricks. I mean, the shit that y'all been doing, you've been doing it for centuries, and we still don't believe you. You always find the tokens. You do it each and every time. You're not fooling us. D-Money 8890, thank you for the 440 jewels. ASG Marcus 23, thank you for the 440 jewels. But this shit don't work. Like, it's the oldest trick in the book. They still pulling this out. They ASS wanting us to believe this. Oh, we're gonna put some Black boys out there. The Black boys gonna say, ain't no racism in Mississippi. How in the hell some 18, 19-year-olds gonna teach us on discrimination? These folks is old as shit. They done lived in Mississippi. They know if Mississippi is racist or not. We ain't listening to no funky ass kids that you done pulled on the internet to say, oh, ain't no racism in Mississippi. They probably can't even spell racism. Who's listening to them and what they say? Just because you're dumb, we all was dumb. I mean, when I was young, I'm gonna be the first to say I was dumb as a box of rocks. I didn't know shit about racism. If you told me about racism, I would be like, okay, I would look it up, but I still didn't understand it. I didn't know that, throughout my lifetime, I would experience it multiple times. Don't tell me what some 18-year-old said as it relates to racism. We don't give a damn what they say. It's okay. And I'm glad that they don't think it exists, but let them live a little bit longer. If you listen to this last interview that he did, and I'll do a video on it, that boy Tristan was about to get his ass wore out because he was in an argument with a white girl. So he didn't realize that was racism with his little dumb self. He talked about him and his girlfriend getting into a verbal spat because she had gotten mad because he had dropped something in the water. He was too drunk, and that white boy came over there to tell him, watch how you talk to this little white lady. He didn't understand that the reason why the white boy was coming at him was because he was Black and he was talking to a white chick. But he didn't get that. Maybe at some point in his life he will get it. But I want to get into this video right here, guys. Make sure if you are just coming in, like the video. We have now 2,450 people watching the stream from my two channels.
To the family regarding cadaver dogs.
Yeah, so obviously the online chatter started right away. People were coming up with all kind of bizarre theories about how he was, he came back to the island, they took him back out there and dumped him, all this kind of stuff. So we just said, hey, one of our top, canine teams happens to be in Jackson County, Mississippi. Jackson County Canine is their name. I said, we'll be happy to have these cadaver dogs go over and inspect the boat. And we told this to Crump's legal team. And so we'll have them go inspect the boat, and they'll be able to tell if there's decomp on that boat. And they said, oh, well, we heard they cleaned the boat. I said, no, there's only one chemical that you could possibly get rid of decomp with, and I guarantee these people don't know what it is. So there's no way they could be a month later, these dogs would be able to smell the decomp. And they would also have Nolan sent, if he was on the boat alive, but they would also know if there was a dead body on that boat. And they declined. They said, nah, we don't think so. So I'm not sure why they didn't want to dispel that right away. We would have known right away if the dead body had been on that boat.
Okay, Crump. Why?
So again, when you guys hear this stuff, y'all got to really listen to what they're saying. So now he lies on Crump. He lies on Ben Crump. How in the hell can Ben Crump give him permission? Listen to what he says. They were going to search the boat. This was days later, okay? And Ben Crump tells them don't search the boat, so therefore they didn't do it. Huh? How is Ben Crump giving you permission to search someone's boat? Ben Crump don't have the authority to give you permission to search somebody's damn boat. In fact, you can't search anybody's permission unless they give you permission. Now, let's say they say you're not searching our boat. Well, the only way you're going to search it is if you illegally do it or you go back to a judge and get an order. So you are lying right now on Ben Crump, which is the reason why I say I believe you had some involvement. Ben Crump does not have the authority to tell you to search somebody's boat. And you can believe that Ben Crump is not going to turn down any help for anybody that he's helping. As I've stated before, because some people say, you know, Ben Crump should do this. Ben Crump is not, although if he wanted to be a criminal attorney, he could, but he decided to be a civil attorney. So for the people that don't know, when you go to law school, they do tell you to find a concentration. That doesn't mean that Ben Crump don't know all the other areas of law, but he has decided to practice.
Let me ask you a quick question. What if you can start and grow your own profitable business by
in the civil rights as it relates to civil rights? So Ben Crump is only here for the family and pretty much looking at what their damages could potentially look like. That is his only job here. Although he knows the law and all of those things, you know, he's working with them to make sure they get justice. But I feel like at this point, Ben Crump knows that they ain't finna do shit. Ben Crump done did this a million times. He understands how this goes. And I want y'all to understand something. One thing these Peckerwoods don't like is a smart ass Negro. Oh, they don't like that. As a matter of fact, they can't stand it. So they mad at Ben Crump because, again, like I said, they wish they had half of his brain. Ben Crump is miles ahead of their ass. He already know. He done did this. Ben Crump done did this shit in his sleep. He already know the play. Again, they do the same shit over and over again. They're not even smart. Do y'all realize they play the same play over and over again? Ben Crump is no fool. Team Aquarius, thank you for the 750 jewels. So I appreciate your contribution. So basically, the issue with them is, you know, they can't F with Ben. Ben been doing this shit. Listen, Ben Crump is one of the smartest civil rights attorney that exists. I mean, he's just a bad motherfucker. I mean, he is. It is what it is. And they know this. They know Ben Crump gonna slap a lawsuit so fat on their ass that they all gonna have to take a pay cut. That's really why they mad. But the only thing these people are demanding is a transparent investigation. Do you guys realize these folks hate us so much that they still don't give a damn? They still don't care. They don't care. And this is what I've been telling y'all about this raggedy wig Nancy Grace. She should know that Ben Crump does not have the authority to give the police to search somebody else's property. But listen to what she says.
Right away, we would have known right away if the dead body had been on that boat.
Okay, Crump. Why aren't you allowing the cadaver dog team onto that boat? We need to know. You know, Brian Trasher, you made it sound very mysterious.
And she, with her raggedy wig wearing ass, this, you know, she need to fix her hair, okay? You say, Ben Crump, we need to know why you didn't let them clean the boat. Lady, are you dumb? This is where I get irritated. Girl, you know that Ben Crump don't got the authority to go and say search somebody's personal property. This is what I tell y'all about these folks. You know, they all in the, you know, comments like, go Nancy, go. Please sit down somewhere. Nancy is only going to monetize. That's the only thing she's concerned about. I mean, Nolan Wells, it was trending. Of course she jumped on the bandwagon to talk about it. She don't give a fuck. Why would you think she does? It makes statements like this. She could have corrected the Cajun Navy guy and say, well, wait a minute. You did say that. Did y'all see her do it? Did y'all see her correct it? He said it on her show. Why didn't she correct them? She could have. She could have corrected him. He made a mistake. Now he lies again and says, oh, we didn't search the boat because Ben Crump told us not to. Man, quit telling that damn lie. Quit lying. Why in the hell would Ben Crump tell you not to do your job? And furthermore, why would it take you days to search a damn boat and y'all had already received the call that we done listened to? I mean, didn't they just, what did they say on the call? We just listened to the call. Didn't they say that what the call say? The call said,
if you feel like everyone understands AI except you, you're definitely not alone.
If you are lacking AI confidence, AI certainty, AI clarity, and you know you need to take AI to a whole nother level in your life if you're going to compete in your career, in your business, or the company you want to start, then you need to join the AI Advantage Club that Tony Robbins and myself started.
This. Y'all don't think they heard this?
Connect you.
He's dead. So y'all, they already heard this weeks ago. They've heard this weeks ago. This is why they made it confidential. This is why they didn't release the autopsy. They already know this. We're just getting this information. Gina Dallas Diva, thank you. Even if Ben Crump had the authority to let the dogs check the boat, I'm pretty sure he would not want to use, wait a minute, where did it go? I'm pretty sure he would not want to use this, right, dogs. He is not to be trusted. Exactly, but you see how he tried to flip it as if it's Ben's job? But here's the deal. If you were going to search the boat, why did you wait 2 days later to do it? You see what I'm saying? It makes no sense. But now we're just gonna blame Ben for it because, you know, Ben said it's a crock and it's a bunch of shit. Because prior to hearing this, I heard that the family was like, you're not searching our boat. So just lies after lies after lies. But now, since this has come out with them saying that he was dead, they already had this. They know this already. While the governor is making statements saying there's no foul play, but we hear them saying, is he dead on the boat? Well, who were they talking about? Casper the ghost? It makes no sense.
Connect you.
No, ma'am. Terrell ain't lying about taking any pictures. He provided the pictures to several people. No, you don't need anybody to fly the helicopter. Have you ever heard of autopilot? That is not true. Okay. It's not true. The pictures that Terrell said he took, I'm sorry, was it Todd Terrell? I'm sorry. It wasn't Todd Terrell. It was Trasher. So you're getting the people mixed up. Trasher did take the pictures. Not only did he take it, he provided it to other individuals. So no, he definitely took it. So again, I don't know, what your experience is with a plane or a helicopter. They can put it on auto fly. So that's not true. He's dead. He's dead. Y'all, come on now. Who is they talking about? This is clear right here. He died on the boat. Y'all, this is what I love about Black people. Can't nobody mess with us. Like, for real. We are the most intelligent, and this is why they really don't like us, because they can't keep us down. Nothing that they do to us ever works. It never works. You see what I'm saying? We can do their job better than their job, and it's eating them up. It's eating them up. We've been saying that we felt like Nolan's body was brought back. This proves that they need to spend the rest of their life in prison. So they don't want to deal with it. This proves that he died on the boat. But it also proved that they either threw him off the boat, which I don't believe, because I believe if they threw him off the boat, I think his lungs and stuff would have been, well, no, I don't know, because if he died before that, I don't know. But I believe they brought the body back. That's just what I believe. So either way you look at it, he died on the boat, shows that
if you're looking for 25 to 150 grand in business funding right now, watch this before you pay anybody a fee. In my world,
it's a premeditation involved here. So this is why they mad, because people at home done did their job way better than them, and they mad. They're always mad. They can never do anything to us Black people to keep us down. Anything that they try to do to us, it never works. Yeah, they bitter, they're mad. Nothing they do ever works. This is clear that Nolan died on the bus. I mean, on the boat. They said, is he dead? What were they talking about?
Connection.
He's dead. No, Nolan. He's dead. Come on now. They heard that shit.
Connection.
Everybody on that damn boat need to be charged. And then you will start talking. You gonna start talking then, because I bet you ain't finna charge me with shit, and I know you did it. Oh, he did it. That's who did it. We ain't finna even go through them problems. But the reason why they're not arresting and charging anybody, because that exactly what happened. They start bringing people in and putting them in jail, they're gonna start telling. So they want us to keep on saying, oh, he drowned. He drowned in the boat. Make it make sense, because they said he dead. Makes no sense.
Detail assistance, Vicky speaking. How can I help you?
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working.
Oh, I like this comment. Is it Abishwa? I hope I'm saying your name right. Abishwa. I hope I'm saying it right. I'm a lawyer. She accused so many Black men of murking people on court TV without evidence. And when she wrong, no apology, just kept on keeping on. Yeah, you got to be talking about Nancy Grace. Listen, I know them folks from a mile away, okay? Nancy ain't shit. She ain't. People, stop looking for white saviors, okay? Nancy ain't shit. Just because she's speaking on Nolan Wells, that don't make her shit. You know, a lot of them, you know, not saying that I don't like certain people, but if I see that you're full of shit, I just make notation that you're full of shit. It's a lot of them, you know, it's so many white tees talking about, all they talk about is black issues. Why are you so consumed with black folks' issues? That would be like me wanting to talk about white people issues all day. None of that stuff has anything to do with me. I'm not ingrained in white culture like that. So I would be the wrong person to speak to it. So when you see all these white tea folks talking about black issues, please understand it's for the money. They need to get their bread. It ain't coming out of a concern. That's why a lot of times when they say it, it don't flow right because they are removed from the community. They're not of the community. This is strictly because, again, they know that we popping in every area. So, hey, let's talk about black folks, because then we'll get these other black dummies over here that's going to look at us and be like, oh, yeah, okay, that's a white person that care. They don't give a F. They don't. Just want to let y'all know that. They want the evidence to be inadmissible. I mean, why are you holding on to his...
Watch me create this entire ebook in under 4 minutes. This is Designer with Word Genie AI that literally writes and...
autopsy, not sending the organs to allow for a second autopsy. Yeah, this is all strategic. They even stated, you know, with the second autopsy that they needed a lot of information from the first autopsy to even make a declaration of if he had even drowned or not. They already know this. They didn't send any of that information. Let me tell y'all this, okay? Mississippi, that Mississippi lady, the medical examiner, she ain't shit. You know, she has a history of ruling, even when black folks have been unalived by police, she has ruled their death as, what's that word I'm looking for? So she did not make it a homicide, although these people had died at the hands of police. One specific case, I don't remember the name. I know I spoke about it before. She basically ruled, I don't know if I'm going to say an accident, but she didn't say it was homicide. Well, this family went and got a second autopsy. The second autopsy actually ruled it was a homicide. And this is probably why she kept the organs of Nolan Wells, because she learned with that last case, when she sent everything over and them folks did a second autopsy, they found that hoe to be a liar. And they say, oh no, this person died because they were really, you know, they couldn't breathe because the police had, you know, laid all of the weight on him and he died. But instead of her ruling it a homicide, she ruled it as something else, and the family could never get justice. So they have a history of this. That's why when I hear the little stupid boy on the internet saying, oh, it's no racism in Mississippi. Well, you know, there's people that has been living there and they feel like it's definitely racism. So we're not going to listen to no stanky kids. Okay. So I'm going to wrap this up, but yeah, there you go. Your Cajun Navy guy all hugged up with the governor of Mississippi. This is the same governor that has been threatening Ben Crump for doing absolutely nothing. This is the same Cajun Navy guy that has made false statements about Ben Crump. They are all connected together. And while I want this family to get justice, I am just being honest, y'all. I really don't see it coming, but we still gonna put, you know, we gonna let them know that we don't believe in this bullshit and these folks need to be arrested. And we're going to keep on talking about Nolan Wells, okay? Because Nolan Wells deserves justice, and this shit just ain't right. Now, before you guys leave, make sure you're liking the video. Make sure you guys have subscribed to the channel. Also, enable your bell notification, because I told y'all I'm going to be doing 20 videos in this week. from now into Friday. Wait a minute, let me make sure. Yeah, the 31st, we'll be doing 20 videos. So I'll catch y'all in the next video. Like and share, and I'll see y'all later.
Yeah. Okay, I'm listening. Go on. Yes, I'm typing it all down. Clear, spilling tea, no fear, no fear. They talk loud, but I'm still here. Like Keisha, say it clear. I don't lies right here. Spilling tea, no fear. I'm still here. Da 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 da. Spilling tea, no sugar, no fear. They talk loud, but I'm still here. Like Keisha, say it clear. Real talk lives right here. Yeah. Spilling tea, no sugar, no fear. I'm still here, no fear.
I run a podcast solo. No producer, no editor, no tech skills, just Riverside. I get high quality.
This video will get Warren charged with the premeditated unaliving of Nolan Wells. Do I believe he did it? Yes. Do I think he did it? Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, I'm listening. Go on. Yes, I'm typing it all down. Clear, spilling tea, no fear, no fear. They talk loud, but I'm still here. Like Keisha, say it clear. I don't lies right here. Spilling tea, no fear. I'm still here.
Let's get into this video, guys, because this video or interview, I should say, that this kid Warren did with this bootlicking guy on YouTube, it confirms everything that I already suspected. Now, let me break it down for you all. In this video, and even over the series of videos that has been scattered across YouTube, of course, because the bootlicker wants to make sure he monetizes and profits as much as he can. The video is very conflicting. I actually had to sit down and take notes because I was like, something isn't right. Let me bring this to you all's attention. He states he left at 4:30, okay? So they left at 4:30. But he also says the last time he saw Nolan was at 3 o'clock. He goes on to say that the last time he laid eyes on Nolan, that Nolan was with this girl. But it doesn't make sense because then he goes on to say when they were leaving, his friend Warren demanded that Nolan get on the boat. Ask yourself this. If the last time you saw him was at 3 o'clock, how in the hell did you hear Warren demanding that he get on the boat? I mean, is it just me? Something doesn't add up with this entire story. But let's get into it.
You know, all this chaos, because we left at 4:30 and there were still just as many people there, if not more, than when we got.
Okay, they left at 4:30. Okay, remember, he said they left at 4:30. Also, if you guys remember the calls to Cito. Cito asked them, are you on Horn Island? So what that indicates that they were still on the island before they, they called Cito before they actually left. Okay. Now, I want you guys to pay attention to this mark right here in the video, because he states that the last time he laid eyes on Nolan was at 3 o'clock. But my question is, if you laid eyes on him at 3 o'clock, wouldn't that indicate that that would have been the last time that you saw him? But he further justifies seeing or laying eyes on him at 3, but then somewhere around 4:30, Nolan did not want to get back on the boat with them, which doesn't make any sense.
Towed out.
Yeah.
And then where's Nolan in this situation?
Well, Nolan was, the last time I saw Nolan was 3 o'clock.
The last time I saw Nolan was at 3 o'clock. Okay.
And Nolan was cradling a girl in his arms, Katie, Katie. And Katie, Nolan was sitting there, and the last time I saw him, I looked at Nolan, and Nolan was like shaking his head, laughing. And
So basically, the last time he saw Nolan, you guys heard him. He said, the last time I saw Nolan was at 3 o'clock. Nolan was cradling or whatever, holding on to Katie, yada, yada, whatever. But if you guys, I'm going to get more into the interview, and I'm just going to play the timestamps. He states that the last time he saw Nolan was at 3 o'clock. But then when they were getting ready to leave, Wyatt demanded that Nolan gets on the boat. Huh? I thought you said the last time you saw Nolan was at 3 o'clock, but he's a witness to this occurring. So how does Wyatt demand Nolan to get on the bus? Don't you have to actually see him to demand that he get on the, I keep saying bus. How does he demand that that Nolan gets on the boat if he didn't see him? Nothing about that makes sense. Nothing. And again, this further confirms to me that I believe that this boy right here was the ringleader in everything that happened to Nolan. In this interview, he talks about how Nolan was a good person. I believe that there could have been some jealousy and some hatred toward Nolan. This guy is psychotic. And it's unbelievable that he feels as though his white supremacy is so strong that he can come out here and do interviews as if we don't have common sense.
My buddy yelled for Nolan, get on the boat. We're leaving. The boat's about.
My buddy yelled at Nolan, get on the boat. The boat is about to leave. But you said the last time you laid eyes on him, that was at 3 o'clock. See, I done said this before. When you tell lies, it's so difficult because now you have to remember what you said. You got to figure out in your mind how this lie is going to play out. Just tell the truth. This guy is lying, okay? He's lying. How did you lay eyes on him at 3 o'clock? But now he's going to go into how they were, or his friend was potentially trying to force Nolan by telling him, get on the boat. Which that's a lie, because why would you feel like you have to put so much force in him getting on the boat when you left him there and said, oh, well, he wanted to stay there.
This professional 32 terabytes SSD, capable of holding the entire collection of the New York Public Library, is something you won't find at Best Buy or any electronics retailer. Even if you were willing to drop $1,000, you couldn't buy it, but today, you can own it for the price of a single beer. Here's the deal. Due to the ongoing conflict in the Middle East and the crisis in the Red Sea,
the boat's having issues, and no, he didn't say that, but he was panicking. Nolan, get the F on the boat. Get on the boat. And Nolan said, no, I'm staying out here.
He was telling Nolan to get the F on the boat, but he said the last time he laid eyes on Nolan was at 3 o'clock.
I'm going to ride in with somebody else. And it's not uncommon to hear, but it's not like my buddy asked him one time. My buddy asked Nolan multiple times to get on the boat. No.
My buddy asked Nolan multiple times to get on the boat. Remember, they left at 4:30. But this guy says the last time he saw Nolan was at 3 o'clock. If you saw Nolan at 3 o'clock, then at 4:30, how did you witness your buddy telling Nolan he needs to get on the boat? This is why you know he is lying. Because what he's doing here is painting a picture that they did not leave Nolan. And the reason why they didn't leave Nolan is what he's trying to say, because we forcefully yelled and told him, get your ass on the bus. The boat is what he wants you to believe. There's a strong emphasis in him saying, Nolan, get your on the boat, which is not typically what you tell your friend. You know, it's, you know, okay for your friend to say, okay, I'm riding with someone else. But the issue here is Nolan left his phone. That doesn't make sense. You guys recall the lies that we were told previously is that the phones don't work on the island. But what we have learned is that the phones actually work on the island. The phones actually work on the island. This guy is lying. And it's giving premeditated.
Nolan, get on the boat. Get on the boat. We're leaving. If you're coming, you got to come now. And Nolan made a decision to stay out on the island. And like he said, you know.
How many people heard that? Were there just
at least
just a
5?
few, or?
I mean, everyone that was on our boat.
Everybody heard it. I bet you him, Jax, and Warren were the 3. This doesn't make any sense. I mean, his account alone that he physically saw Nolan at 3 o'clock, but at 4:30, you were hearing, which how do you hear without seeing? So Warren was yelling across the island, Nolan, get your ass on the boat. This doesn't make sense.
Right there, because the Palm Beach had already left. My buddy went ahead and went home on the Palm Beach, and 3 guys on the way back. And Nolan wasn't the only person.
Now, this is another part that I want you guys to pay attention to. We have heard over and over again that there was a pool party, okay? But what had been indicated is that Nolan was actually unalived at the pool party. And listen, I'm starting to think that maybe there's some validity to that, because what this guy does tell us is, in fact, that there was a pool party. But if you guys recall, there was a picture posted on that evening of Nolan in the pool. Remember that? Okay, stay with me. But ultimately, it was deleted. They stated, oh, the picture was from a week prior, which was June 27th. I don't believe that, because what a coincidence that you all, Evan, posted a video at 2 in the morning. I believe it was somewhere in the wee hours, but then you deleted it. You deleted it. Why would you delete it? Usually, if your friend comes up missing, you don't just go deleting pictures of them. So I believe it, in fact, was a pool party. We're going to get into that, because in this interview, he actually states there actually was a pool party. But let's listen to what he says.
Swim and, hang out. And
this infamous picture that I've seen online of Nolan in the water in the swimming pool.
Yeah.
Where is this picture associated with? Because you said you guys went back to swim. Nolan wasn't with you.
Yeah.
So where is this picture at? Like,
Right.
what's the context around that picture that's been floating?
That picture is taken on June 27th, a week before the 4th of July. We all went to a friend of ours in Pass Christian. We have a lot of friends from Bay St. Louis, Pass Christian. We all went over there to hang out, and
And Nolan was in that picture.
Nolan was in that picture. And if you look in the picture, my arm is around Nolan in that picture, And I mean, that was a week before the 4th of July. So that picture is not associated within even the same. I mean, that was like a week before. So, yeah.
So you guys are now at swimming and having a good time at a lady friend's house.
Right. I never got to the pool. I talked to her dad for a while. And I mean, all my friends were downstairs. I went upstairs, talked to her dad. We're talking about boats and stuff.
So listen to what this guy says. Isn't it very interesting that the account that we received about the pool party was actually real? If y'all forgot, it was this right here, okay? They blotted out the faces of these killers. You see his arm around Nolan. This is the guy Warren. Now, what a coincidence that there was a pool party that day, but he says that it did not happen on the 4th, it happened on the 27th. I don't believe him. I believe that Nolan could have very well been unalived at this pool party. If you guys recall, there was information stating that he got beat up at the pool party. Now, in this boy's interview, he does tell us that they went back to the island. And I believe that they went back to the island to dump his body. Now, let's kind of get further into this interview. He said, well, I'm going to let y'all listen to what he said. Let's get into this interview. Because some of the things that he stated is even more questionable. In fact, he stated that you can die on the island, you know, but then he goes on to say Nolan had been drinking. So you know that you can die on the island and you left your friend who you claim had been drinking. And then he goes on to say Nolan had been drinking all day. Another lie, because clearly you guys arrived at around 10-ish and then you left at 4:30. That's not all day. That's maybe half of a day. But he uses this high emphasis on Nolan was drinking to basically make it Nolan's issue. Nolan was drinking, but let's get into it.
I said, my friends and I have been on the water our whole life. Stuff happens. People die all the time. I know people that have died out there.
I know people that have died out there. People die all the time. Stuff happens. But you left your friend out there who you say you loved, who you later even stated that you wasn't going to the funeral because you were too concerned about yourself, which I feel like a lot of those threats that they're referring to are lies, because we don't typically do stuff like that. Like, we're not sending people hate messages. That is what they do, saying that we're going to do all this crazy stuff. That's just not what we do. I believe they sent those or had somebody else to send them, or if they received them, it was from people that look like them. That's just not what we do.
And, you know, it's a fun place to be, but it's also a very, very dangerous place to be if you're not handling it right. And
it's a dangerous place to be if you're not handling it right. But then he said in the same interview and said Nolan was drunk. So you knew that he was allegedly drunk and you just left him there?
So if you tried to put a CD or DVD in your laptop anymore, well, good luck. Because today, they don't come with CD or DVD drives. Back in the day, they all had them standard. And now if you want to watch a DVD, it's tough luck and you've got to find a different alternative. Well, check this thing out that I just got right here. This is an external CD DVD player and the cord is such a cool design. Look at the back of this. It's literally built into the unit and it has a regular size USB and a USB-C. So no matter what port you have, you can do it. And it's not just going to be for your CDs and DVDs. You also have USB ports up here, so you can use these to transfer data. You've got a memory card reader, and you even have a USB-C slot, so you can charge your devices as well. Let me show you how good this thing works. Literally, you just plug this in to the computer, no software to install. You hit the power button, and it's back like you're in 1997. You've got your DVD, CD player right here. Check these things out. They are really nice. They're in the TikTok shop, and these things are a bargain.
Nolan, so I hadn't heard from him, and obviously I'm thinking I'd way rather be safe than sorry.
So do you guys see how this doesn't make sense? To have the experience that you have with the island, to know that, you know, you have experienced death, But then, you know, even in the same interview, he talks about not experiencing death. So this guy is psychotic, if you ask me. But we're going to get into the portion where he states that Nolan had been drinking all day. Your friend had been drinking all day and you just left him there, knowing that you have had experience with other people dying on that same island. But I digress.
Just sleeping somewhere and, you know, that he's okay. But I didn't want to believe that if we didn't know for sure. So, I mean, next day I woke up and my stepdad walked to my room. He said, "Hey, like, have they heard anything about Nolan? Like, what's going on?" Because I hadn't spoke to him. And he was like,
okay, let me go back a little because I think I missed it.
Like, you know, I assumed, you know, Nolan's just, you know, we had been drinking all day and like, you know.
We have been drinking all day. It's crazy. Listen, if my friends have been drinking all day, one thing I'm not going to do is leave them by themselves. They can't get in an Uber, a taxi. You either go spend a night or I'm going to take you home. If I can't take you home and I don't have anybody that I trust to take you home, you stand with me.
That he's just sleeping somewhere and, you know, that he's okay. But I didn't want to believe that if we didn't know for sure. So
he didn't want to believe what? That Nolan was unalive? Because you left him there and you also had experience with other people dying there. But it seems like you didn't care. You're just like, okay, I'm going to leave him here. He's been drinking all day as if alcohol and large amounts of water actually mix. But he didn't give a damn about Nolan. I believe Nolan thought that this guy was his friend. He didn't like Nolan, and I wouldn't doubt if he was envious of Nolan. Now, in this particular portion of the video, he talks about Trayston. He was told by Trayston that they found his body, Nolan's body.
Buddies were texting my group chat. They were like, "Hey, listen," and then I got a phone call from my buddy Trayston. He was like, "Hey, man, they just found his body." And I was like, I wanted to have hope, but it was really, really hard to have hope when they haven't found your buddy in the last 2 days. And
it was really, really hard to have hope when they haven't found your buddy in the last 2 days. This dude is lying. Like, you can be an amateur law student person going to law school and be able to find the lies in his story. You saw him at 3 o'clock. That was your last time laying eyes on Nolan. However, you can witness that your friend Warren at 4:30 demanded that he get on the boat. That doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. But of course, you guys let me know what you guys think in the comments. Please make sure you are liking the video. Make sure you guys have subscribed to the channel and enable your bell notification. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.
Yeah. Okay, I'm listening. Go on. Yes, I'm typing it all down.
Clear, spilling tea, no fear, no fear. They talk loud, but I'm still here. Like Keisha, say it clear. I don't, lives right here. Spilling tea, no fear, I'm still here. Da 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 da. Spilling tea, no sugar, no fear. They talk loud, but I'm still here. Like Keisha, say it clear. Real talk lives right here. Yeah. Spilling tea, no sugar, no fear. I'm still here, no fear, but I'm still here. Like Keisha, say it clear. Real talk lives right here. Yeah. Make sure you subscribe.
English words like
Spilling tea, no sugar, no fear. Make sure you subscribe to the Lakeisha Keisha channel. Spill
A random IT guy once told me the scariest thing about Macs. He said, the damage is already happening before you ever notice anything. Bro, that hit. Because your Mac looks fine, it feels fine, but hidden background apps are quietly draining it. Old junk files are corrupting storage, silently. And malware doesn't announce itself. That's the whole point. Most people think their Mac doesn't need maintenance. That's like never going to the doctor because you feel okay. Your Mac is aging, you just can't see it yet. Clean My Mac runs a full health scan in 2 minutes. It finds the memory wasters, clears the junk, tells you exactly what's degrading your machine before it ever gets bad. 1 app, 2 minutes, and then you actually know your Mac is safe, not just hoping it is. Free for 7 days. Apple Notarized. Run the free health check now.
So we told you that we were going to spend the next hour really digging into the Nolan Xavier Wells case. So let's just go back. For those of you who have not been following every inch of it, every moment of it, Nolan Xavier Wells graduated in just 2025, last year, from Ocean Springs High School in the coastal Mississippi town of Ocean Springs, and that's just east of Biloxi, Mississippi. He then enrolled in Southwest Mississippi Community College, where he was a wide receiver on their football team. And then this July 4th weekend happened. So on the evening of July 3rd, Nolan headed up to Horn Island for a boat trip with a group of friends after, because he was a good kid, cooking his family a salmon dinner. According to his mom, it was a hug and a kiss, and he left. That's what Christine Wansley, his mom, said. That's what she told the Associated Press. He joined his friends for a boat trip to Horn Island, and Horn Island is a federally protected barrier island. It's known for its untouched beaches, shifting shoreline, and quiet isolation, per the AP. And it was not uncommon for Nolan to visit the island with his friends, per the family, who also told us the same. And photos showing Nolan and his friends, the friends that he went boating with, they're all over the internet. This is the main one that you've seen really popping up everywhere. And that is the group of friends that he was with. Now, Nolan was supposed to return to school after the holiday weekend to start training for the upcoming football season. That was what his dad, Elmore Wansley, told us and ABC News and the Associated Press. And Elmore said that basically he worked so hard on the football field and he was taking football so seriously that he and his wife wanted to give Nolan one last sort of hurrah weekend of fun before he had to buckle down for the football season. And instead of coming back with his friends, he went missing. So his friend group returned to the mainland on the afternoon of the 4th of July without Nolan. His family reported him missing that night after they received a phone call at around 11 p.m. on July 4th from one of his friends. Now, after the first hours passed without any answers, Nolan's mom turned to social media, posting desperate appeals for information about her son's whereabouts, posting what he was wearing. And in a post on July 5th, Christine Wansley said that she and her husband now finally had possession of their son's cell phone and that they had traveled to the island to search for him. So here we're going to put up the July 5th post from Christine Wansley, and she posted pictures that showed her son with the friends. The family wound up enlisting the host of the Cajun Navy, which is a local search group that helps find missing people and just helps people navigate the water. Here is what the organization posted on their public Facebook page on July 5th. And that is C2. Oh, do you have it, Jason? Uh-oh. Okay, I think I'm
Good
going to
morning, Josh Gill. 5 July 2026, really important. I know you guys are going to be out on the boat today. Enjoy your day. If you're going out towards Horn Island, I need you to keep your eyes out for 18-year-old Nolan Wells. Black young man, about 6'1", 180 pounds, was last seen on that north end of Horn Island. Guys, he hasn't been found. Okay, he was last talking to a girl on that north end. He went out to Horn Island with some buddies yesterday out on a boat. He's not been heard from in close to 24 hours. So guys, if you're out there fishing, if you're out there, jet skiing, doing whatever you guys are doing, keep your eyes out for Nolan. Family's going to be out there in the boat searching. We're going to try and get some air assets up there. We know there's surface assets around. Coast Guard's been notified. Local police have been notified. Guys, please keep your eyes out. Look at the poster. Look at the pictures. Let's see what we can do. Let's find this young boy. His mother's worried sick. Let's do what we do, guys. Love each and every one of you. Be safe. I hope you all still have 10 fingers and toes. Let's do work.
So that was the post that I pulled off of the Cajun Navy's Facebook page, in which it was an all, hands on deck search for Nolan Wells. Now, despite the sort of community all coming together to try to search for this child, this young man, the case immediately exploded into a racial controversy, particularly in a state like Mississippi that has a bad history. And Mississippi has the history of the most lynchings of any state, including that hanging bridge where several young Black Mississippi men, women, and women were lynched by white mobs in 1919. Of course, the infamous lynching of Emmett Till, as well as recent controversies, including the case of Demtravion Trey Reed, a 21-year-old Black college student who was found dead hanging from a tree on the campus of Delta State University in Cleveland, Mississippi on September 15, 2025. And the case, of course, of 1-year-old Cohen Wiley, who was fatally shot by Senatobia police in a Walmart parking lot in Senatobia, Mississippi on July 14, 2026. The officer was responding to a shoplifting call alleging diapers had been shoplifted. The officers killed the toddler, critically injured another woman in the car. Those cases have gotten far less national attention than Nolan Wells' case, but per a local source that I spoke with over the course of this week, many in the community believe that Nolan Wells' case, really sort of blew up nationally because it involves a mixed race group of friends and affluent white Mississippians as well. So, needless to say, the whole situation is fraught. And Nolan's parents, Christine and Elmore Wansley, who we interviewed on the show, they hired attorneys, including at the national level, Ben Crump, and they went to the National Action Network for support, which of course triggered some folks. And major celebrities jumped in to help, supporting their GoFundMe, which media mogul Byron Allen did to the tune of $100,000. Colin Kaepernick came in to fund moving Nolan's body to Washington for a private autopsy because the family wanted their own separate autopsy from the one being conducted in Mississippi. Tyler Perry is paying for the funeral, which is expected to take place on Monday if that date doesn't move. The family has met with the local officials and secured a grand jury investigation, but lots of people are questioning why Nolan's death wasn't immediately treated as something more than an accidental drowning. People also questioning why did his friends leave him behind, allegedly to spend time with another girl, and say that he chose to stay behind, and why did he not take his phone? Why did they have his phone? Lastly, of course, we have the friends who went boating with Nolan privating their social media pages, and one of the moms putting out a Facebook post, which was sort of unusual, and then it sort of provided an alibi for her son and his friends, but was giving information. So that's where we start tonight. Let me very quickly, before we bring our guests in, I want to let you listen to this interview with the son. And now this is one of the men who unfortunately found Nolan's body.
In like 3 feet of water, and then within a few steps you could be in 20 feet of water. And if all of a sudden your feet aren't under you anymore, and the current starts carrying you, it can drag you out pretty fast, pretty violently. I can't speak to whether it's damaging the investigation because I'm not part of it. One thing that I thought was interesting at the press conference today, the family's lawyers were complaining that they weren't having a lot of communication from the sheriff's office. At the same time, the lawyer's been on a press kit bashing the sheriff's office without any evidence, saying that they can't be trusted and that they can't run a fair investigation without any evidence, without any examples of why that might be true. They're just saying it to try to get their fundraising up, presumably. So that kind of irresponsibility needs to stop. Yeah, so we got contacted on the evening of 4 July. I believe it was like a family friend or member of a family of Nolan's that got in touch with us and ultimately put us in touch with his mother. And we were able to talk to her and kind of get a briefing on everything she knew at that point. The next morning, we had known that they didn't find anything overnight, so we started making plans to put a boat in the water. And we talked to a couple of our local volunteers in Mississippi from our Mississippi chapter who went out. Two guys went out in with a boat and a drone and canvassed the island and did a grid search around Horn Island, and didn't find anything that day. That was Sunday, 5 July. So we made a decision, since we were getting further away from the last time Nolan was alive, that on Monday morning we put a plane up, and that's what we did. And we were flying for a couple hours, a grid around 3 different barrier islands, when we noticed the command post being set up on the beach, and when Nolan's body had washed up.
What do you remember most about the conversation Nolan's mother had with your incident coordinator?
Just, frantic, wanting to know why her son didn't come back. Why was his phone showing that he was on land, but she can't get in touch with him? And come to find out that he had stayed behind, was supposed to catch another ride, left his phone and keys on the boat that he rode out there on. But we now know he never did come back.
Joining me now, Paul Butler, the Albert Brick Professor in Law at Georgetown University Law Center, also one of our absolute favorite legal analysts, Frank Figluzzi, former Assistant Director of Counterintelligence for the FBI and the host of the Fire and Figluzzi Show on Substack, and also another one of our favorite legal analysts, Dina Dahl, host of the legal and political podcast Mistrial on the Midas Touch Network and co-host of the Supreme Court-focused podcast Unprecedented on the Legal AF channel. 3 of our favorite people to talk to in the world. Thank you all for being here. I want to start with you, Frank Figluzzi. See, I am the only person who gets to call Frank Frankie Figs, because that's what we used to call him back at MSNBC. So no one else gets to call him that but me. But it's so good to see you, Frank.
It's been a while.
It's been a while, too long. So one of the things that strikes me is that the place where Nolan and his friends were hanging out is federally protected land. So it's federal property. And one of the things that struck me about the way that this case initially sort of played out is that there wasn't immediately a federal response. But is that wrong? If a person dies on federal property, is there usually an immediate FBI investigation?
So, it's you went there and I was going to go there, so let's do it. Yes, this is federal property. It's part of the National Gulf Islands seashore, and it's controlled by the National Park Service. So yes, and I got to tell you, I'm observing this more and more under this administration, which is to take kind of a supportive role and a backseat, even when there is clear FBI jurisdiction. We don't have to go any further than the Nancy Guthrie case out of Tucson, Arizona, where I've said publicly numerous times, I don't understand why the FBI didn't grab this case when it was likely a kidnapping. But here we are. And I don't know how many complex murder investigations this sheriff's office handles. And I would want to learn more about that. But what we know so far about the FBI involvement is that they're in a support mode, that they're helping examine digital evidence. We don't have further explanation from them on that. We can only assume it's GPS coordinates and cell phones and any other devices. But we don't know how far that's gone. The big question I have on the digital side is when you've got this many people who've been interviewed, and somewhere between 100 and 200 people attending July 4th festivities on the island. And the sheriff saying, last I looked, about 60 interviews have been conducted. One of the things the FBI would do is collect or ask permission for people to give up their images and phones from that day, so that you could then overlay that with facial recognition to find Nolan somewhere in those images. Right? If you've got that many people partying on the beach and a lot of cameras and videos and photos, presumably somebody captured Nolan's image somewhere, even inadvertently. Facial recognition can do that and say we think we've got a positive ID or a near positive ID on Nolan's face. That's something I would love to know if it's being done, but I've not heard that that's the case.
So, Jason, I'm sorry to skip, but if you could put up C8, because so what's now started to emerge is that images from that day, and so these images apparently have turned up on social media that are of July 4th. So now belatedly, you are seeing these images put forward. Does this help in some way for people to start putting forward images? Do these images do anything from an FBI standpoint?
Well, one of the things that images do is prompt public response, right? I know those people. That guy said something weird after July 4th or before July 4th. I know who that is. My cousin's sister knows that person and should be interviewed. That kind of thing helps a lot with familiarity and prompts response. Whether or not that's happening, I don't know. The sheriff's spokesperson has said he's pleased with the public response and cooperation so far. But yeah, Get Out, I'm a big fan of crowdsourcing crime solving. Get it out and let's have the public help with this. The question is whether the law enforcement investigation is capable and competent enough to do that.
Yeah, I agree. And by the way, you mentioned Nancy Guthrie. I promise you, Twitter is going to find Nancy Guthrie before the FBI. That is my opinion, because I don't know what they do for a living in this point. But let's talk about that. The point of who's been spoken with Paul Butler and who has not. So there is this video that was one of the first kind of viral things to go viral. Jason, this is C5. You could put it up. And that is this video. You can put it up.
So you want to use AI but don't know what to ask or which tools to use, then start here.
If you are lacking AI confidence, AI certainty,
And you can take it down, Jason, if you don't mind. That you can hear somebody saying, "Where's my effing phone?" Initially, Paul, Attorney Ben Crump alleged that seemed to be Nolan. But one of his actually best friend, Javon, went on TMZ and gave an interview about that interaction. Let's play C6 if you could, Jason.
Javon, have you seen the video that's been going around social media where people think that they're hearing an argument between people and they're wondering whether or not Nolan is one of the people in that argument? You just described that you had another friend, not Nolan, another friend who was in and got into a dispute. Is that video the other argument that you were talking about?
Yes.
So, but is that Nolan in the video?
I can't tell. It's too far away. But in that video, I feel like the voices are too clear. Like from the side, it's too clear for it to be that far away, for it to be Nolan arguing. And then also that altercation, it sounds just like my other friend that got into the altercation on the boat. And they were trying to, like, as he was in the altercation, I was calming him down. They were trying to get him out off the island. They were trying to get him back to land because he was just losing it. So,
describe that. That's kind of interesting. What was that about?
He was just very hostile. Like he was just like really like mad. Like they were just trying to, like the parents on that boat were trying to get him out.
I'm curious if the police have. I know they said they're still investigating. Did any investigators ever speak to you about what you saw that day?
No, sir.
Really? Okay. Cops have not talked to you yet.
No, sir.
That's odd.
I don't see why the cops would have to talk to me. I mean, obviously, like, you know, like I had said my plea, like, because whenever I had talked to the people at Sunheard, it was whenever, you know, the body was discovered and the autopsy people and all those people were there.
Well, I'll tell you why I'm surprised. Because you knew Nolan well. And you knew that he was friends with these guys who were the last ones to be around him before his body was found. And I would think they would at least want to know, hey, just the things we're asking. Right. You know, did you ever hear of any of this stuff? It's odd to me.
Just to gather information.
Yeah, that the cops wouldn't have contacted you. Yeah.
And that's fine. Like, I'm completely fine with that. Like I said, I have nothing to hide. Like, that's my boy, and I want him to find justice. Like, that, like, this whole case thing, like, whatever like this whole situation, and none of this adds up to me. So like it's really hard like for like people to just like keep on saying things when like none of it adds up, honestly.
So, okay, I want to play one more clip before I go to you, Paul, because he says none of this adds up. He knows all the kids. He said it doesn't. He's not sure that sounds like Nolan, and no police have spoken to him. Now let's play, Jason, another one of the friends who purports to answer the question of who that is. Jason, if you could play, I think this is C7.
For the first time since Wells' body was found, we're hearing from a friend of the 18-year-old who was with him on the day that he died. Trayston Shepard, who says that he was with Wells on the 4th of July, but declined to speak on camera because of the threats that he says he's been receiving.
We did no wrong here, and we don't understand how we're getting so much hate behind it. We all cared and loved Nolan, and nobody wanted to see Nolan die. Nobody wanted to see his life be taken so short.
So is anything odd about what these friends are saying, Paul, in your view?
It's shocking that investigators haven't spoken to that young man who apparently has information that's relevant to a crime that, or to a possible crime, to a disappearance that they're trying to investigate. And it doesn't give me a lot of confidence about the investigation. I don't know if it's a competency issue or another issue, but it's very concerning. So we don't have to rely on a teenager's analysis about whose voice is on a video. We have forensic techniques that should be able to fairly quickly provide investigators with that information. So there is a grand jury investigation, not a grand jury criminal indictment at this point, but a grand jury investigation of this case. And one of the things that should immediately happen is that forensic analysis of that video. And Joy, to Frank's point, in that video, we see many people all around that island. It was from 100 to 200 teenagers partying. So the sheriff's theory appears to be that Nolan drowned. Now, that's weird for a number of reasons. One, he was a good swimmer. He was in great shape. But the main reason it's weird is that if all of those people were around, how could no one have noticed, heard, and come to his aid if he were in that kind of trouble? So lots of things that don't add up. It doesn't mean that there was foul play necessarily, but the way that we find out whether there was foul play is with an investigation that's conducted with integrity. And based on some of what we're seeing now, I think there are concerns. There are good reasons to be concerned about this investigation.
Yeah, there's lots of questions that seem to be being answered, Dina, on social media rather than coming from investigators, which is odd. The sheriff hasn't said a lot other than immediately saying it was a drowning and sort of passing it off as an accident. And that, I think, is one of the things that triggered people's skepticism. We're also now learning, mainly from Facebook. I have spent a lot of time on Facebook in the last couple of days. Friends of the young woman, her name is Katie. This is C9, Jason. And I found her Facebook page, but did not want to reproduce the Facebook page. So we don't want people going on her Facebook page and bothering her. But now the allegation, which is mainly coming from Nolan's friends and from her older sister, that she was the last person to be with Nolan, to be known to be with Nolan. And that Katie, who allegedly met Nolan that weekend, did not know him before, might have been the last person to be with him. I don't know if she's been interviewed by the federal authorities. I believe she has at least had one interview, but wouldn't this be a good place to start? Like, shouldn't this grand jury or shouldn't investigators be tracking her down? I literally tracked down her Facebook page in 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I think to kind of reiterate Frank and Paul's point, whether or not it's the
federal or local officials, they seem to have not enough people on this case. I mean, there are so many people there at that party, and they each not only need to be interviewed, but every single cell phone needs to be reviewed, and the location data, the images. So whoever they haven't staffed it enough. And to your point about social media, I think the collective knowledge of social media actually does tend to really uncover things. I mean, TikTok basically solved what happened with Gabby Petito, right? Years ago. So I think sharing information online is actually going to be very helpful in this case. And it is possible that the social media community might find out and uncover things before law enforcement. But like in this day and age, crimes are really proven through this kind of forensic evidence, this cell phone. I mean, cell phones provide so much data. People really aren't convicted in trials anymore based on eyewitness testimony. It's all about your cell phone pinging over a tower, and it's amazing the kind of information that they can gather from your cell phones. And they have teenagers, so they all have their cell phones. They're taking pictures all the time. They're posting things all the time. They're sending messages, Snapchats. They just really need to have more people on this, because they really probably have a trove of evidence that they can comb through and probably find out quite a bit.
And one would think they would have done that right away, and they'd probably be further along had they done it immediately. So let's get into that, because the cell phone is a big issue, and where the cell phone was pinging and where the cell phone was. But I'm going to put a pin in that for just 1 second, because I want to first play, Frank, one of the newer pieces of evidence that's come forward. And I also want to note, just put a pin in the fact that the FBI is now reportedly investigating threats. They haven't said against whom, but one can sort of surmise who they're investigating threats against. So they are involved on that side of it, but that's interesting that they're proactive there. But this video came out, I believe NBC was the first to get it, and it showed what happened with the boat that these young men were on and why they had to be essentially towed back to land. This is C10, Jason.
New audio shedding light on the moments before some of Nolan Wells' friends left Horn Island off the coast of Mississippi. A mom of one of the friends last week said the group left without Nolan when their boat began malfunctioning.
We're sinking. Can y'all please come?
NBC News has obtained audio as part of a records request that details the group calling for towing assistance.
And is everybody on board in good health otherwise?
Yeah, everybody's on board.
Why are you still using bots for your meetings? How else am I going to remember what happened? Just use granola. Okay, what's granola? So granola is like a note taker, or more like a notepad. It just runs in the background. But a bot never joins the call. You just write your notes like you normally would. Yeah, but it probably just gives you like a long transcript. No, it actually takes all your notes plus what happened during the call. And it builds out a whole recap in like an easy readable way.
So Frank, the other thing that was said, and this is also going around social media, is that the families are claiming when Nolan met this other young lady, Ashley, he decided to go off with her and left his phone and his keys on that boat. And then that boat was in distress and was towed back, and the friends took the phone and the keys with them. Anything about that strike you as odd or as investigatorily helpful?
So yes and no. If you're planning, if you're boating and you're planning on being in the water, you're going swimming, you're going to be at the beach, you're worried about theft of your cell phone, you don't want to get your cell phone wet, then yes, boaters will tell you they stow their cell phone. Sometimes they wrap it in plastic and they stow it safely. So not so much there, but at the point where he decides, hey, I'm not going back with you, is it possible he forgot to ask for his phone? Hey, let me go retrieve my phone. I'm going off with this girl. Yeah, that's possible. There's been reports that there's, no surprise, the young people and July 4th and maybe some alcohol's been consumed. At least one of the friends is pictured drinking or holding a can of what looks like an alcoholic beverage. So yeah, I'm interested in this girl. I forgot my cell phone. That's all possible. I think where I'm struck by two things. First, one thing you said that has to be addressed based on my experience in the Bureau is the FBI's decided reportedly to investigate threats against the young people who were with Nolan, who it appears are white. But they're going to expend federal resources on interstate communication of a threat, but they won't apparently take over an investigation of a murder or possible murder that occurred clearly on federal property. That strikes me as extremely odd and needing an explanation. Now, as for the young lady, I'm also struck by the fact that Nolan's mom, who I believe spoke with the young lady, said that the young lady said to the mom, it was just a hi and a bye, right? So you've got his friends saying, Nolan's friends saying, well, he seemed really interested in this young woman. And so what is that? What happened? Was it hi and bye? So here's what I would be doing, and I've done it myself when I've led possible homicide investigations. The digital wins the day, yes, but I'll tell you where I've gotten the confessions when you couple it with digital evidence, and that's the polygraph. And the FBI polygraph examiners, I believe, are the best in the world, the best trained in the world. And that's where you get the confession when you present your digital evidence and you present your discrepancies in stories, and now you hook somebody up to the machine. That's where you get the confession. And that's where the FBI should be coming in and offering that.
Yeah, and the other piece of it, Paul, is the friend that said, we did nothing wrong, we did nothing to Nolan, sort of proactively said that to the journalist. Now, we didn't hear the full conversation, but that seems like an interesting thing to sort of lead with, and yet Javon saying something about this doesn't add up. So the friends, one who allegedly also posted the last sort of cell phone text with Nolan where he's not responding, obviously he doesn't have his phone, he can't. You've got another friend that posted see you soon before they wipe their cell phone page, but you can't see him soon. You have his phone. You know that you have his phone because you all took his phone. So there's a lot that's odd, and I want to get into this phone thing. So here is an interview with Nolan Wells' dad where he talks about the kind of hoops they had to jump through to get this phone back. This is the 11th.
Okay, so the situation with the key. When we got to the house, a few of his friends, they were already there, and they were at the door in the house, asking questions. So when I walked up, they were getting, things were getting kind of intense. So I turned to them and told them, I need you guys to calm down. I don't do this to me right now. I need them to kind of trust me so they can give me something. So I was able to calm them down. So the guy, he's in one of the pictures, he came out of the room, half asleep or whatever, where I think Jack's or whatever. And I said, look, I'm Nolan's father. I'm here to get his keys so I can get his car. I said, his car was in the yard. His car's parked in the yard. So he was like, I don't know, man. I know it's like my brother. I said, well, if Nolan was like your brother, would you please go in your room and see if you can find my son's keys so I can take his car home? He walks off, 2 or 3 minutes, come back. I can't find the keys. I said, okay. So at that point, I get the boys and I get to move them out the house because I didn't want them to go into the house and start tearing up these people's houses because there'd never be a hole in the situation. So walk outside by the car. One of the guys that was in the house with us, he was on the phone with a girl, and the girl told him that Nolan's keys were on top of this Jack's guy's Xbox in the house because apparently she was there with him earlier. So he goes back up to the door by himself, and 5 minutes later, the keys come out. So now I feel like you done lied to me. So now I'm really like in distrust with you. But as far as their night goes, if I knew anyone who had a boat, I would have went out that night looking for my son. We tried, but I don't have friends with boats. But if I knew someone with one, I would have went out that night. And this so happened that his coach saw all the stuff on Facebook that next morning and contacted me at like 5 in the morning, asked me, did we want to go out? And I told him yes. So within an hour, he was at the dock. We met him, and we went out. We docked the boat, got out the boat, walked on the island, walked a pretty nice stretch, came back, got back on the boat, went around the island, looked, came back around, and where we went to, that's where apparently they say that his body floated up. I don't know a lot about water currents or whatever, but I would think that we would have saw his body. Mm-hmm. And on the trip there was a family that stayed the night on the island, like actually tented out on the island. So if he was left, he would have saw that family on the island, and it was 2 other boats docked. So he would have had.
What if I told you that every time a bank declines a small business loan application, that could represent an opportunity for...
So, Paul, your thoughts? And I apologize, that was not an interview. That was obviously the press conference that they did with National Action Network. Your thoughts?
First of all, how tragic that the parents are doing the investigation, because apparently law enforcement didn't step up immediately. You know, the cliche is the first 48 hours. So reportedly, the last time that Nolan was seen was at around 3 o'clock on the 4th of July. His body wasn't found until July 6th, 2 days later. So the parents have very legitimate questions about why it wasn't found earlier, especially since it reportedly was found close to the shore. And so, you know, there are theories that it was planted there later. We have no reason to think that that's true, but in the absence, again, of an investigation that we can have confidence in, of course, all of those kind of conspiracy theories kind of take on life. And to the point about the phone, again, that's another instance in which the parents had to do the investigation. They did it well, and they are the people who recovered the phone, not the sheriff and not any other investigative agency. And when they saw the phone, what did they find on it? Nothing from that day. Joy, you raise teenagers. Anybody who knows teenagers knows that a teenager and his or her phone is like this. And again, I take Frank's point. If you're on a boat, maybe, or you're at a party where people are in the water, you don't want the phone to get wet or damaged. But all day, especially Nolan, according to his parents, was an avid user of social media. He was posting all the time. And the teenagers I know, you're at a party with all these kids, you're gonna post something. You're gonna be snapping photos, and especially if that's the thing that you do, that you know for. So why is there nothing on this phone? Again, Mr. Crump has hired his own experts, and they have access to this phone. So we'll have more information about whether anything was wiped from this phone, hopefully really soon.
Yeah, and just to reiterate, when we spoke with Christine, Nolan's mom, she made it very clear that he was a very heavy phone user. He was encouraging her to post more often, and he was an avid Snapchat user. Just let's play C12, because this is, we were told the same thing, but I think this is clearer audio of what sort of a clearer explanation, a more succinct explanation of how Christine Wansley was able to get the phone, or able to find out where the phone was. And here we go.
You have Nolan's cell phone and messages were deleted. How could you tell messages were deleted?
Well, his parents got the phone back, and that's something that's important, Michael, because they tracked this phone on Life 360.
So Life 360, but when I received the phone call from Warren, I immediately called my friend Tashima, and I said, hey, have you guys seen Nolan? Because her two sons, Jalen and Javon, like they grew up together. They played City League sports together. When they got into school, they played sports together. And so she was like, hey, like, okay, the boys were pulling up the location from Snapchat. So the Snapchat location looks completely different than the Life 360 location. So when I pulled up Life 360, it was different. It was showing everywhere the phone had been. Like I was like, well, it's showing that he's back on land. Like he's like, but no, he didn't come back with us.
Well, how were you able to get the phone?
So we tracked it, and my friend Tashima went and picked it up.
So this is confusing, Dina, because the phone, I would assume, pinged back on land because the boys brought it back with them. When the boat broke down, I'm sort of going through the logical sort of events here. They had the phone on the boat. The boat has an electrical problem. They get towed back. They have his phone. They go back to Warren's house. And just for all of you to remember, it was about 11 o'clock that night that this young man, Warren, apparently called Christine Wansley to say, I guess, to raise the alarm that Nolan was not back with them, right? And that is when this whole investigation begins. But can you make sense of these discrepancies regarding the phone sort of pinging on land, pinging on sea? Is it as simple as I've just said? It was pinging on land because his phone was back, but not him.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds exactly right. I mean, it sounded like there was a difference between his Snapchat location and his Life 360
Which is
location.
weird.
Yeah, I mean, and that maybe has something to do with if they did change any settings in the Snapchat or erase it. And so definitely that's something that forensic people will look into. But I'm going to just reiterate the same thing that Paul said in terms of it's there's always like because you do apply some common sense to these cases, right? And this idea that even if he wanted to stay behind, that he didn't bring his phone with him, you can't believe it. They are so attached to their phones, these teenagers. I mean, all of us, frankly, are attached to our phone these days. And if he thought he was going to stay behind, that would make it even more of a reason to want to have the phone. You don't know exactly what happened, but that seems to just be a lie. And so once you have the one lie, then you wonder, what are you hiding, right? And it could be more innocent than murder, right? Could be that they just left him and they just didn't even bother to tell him they were leaving or something. But there was definitely you have to suspend common sense to believe that he didn't ask for his phone back if he said, hey folks, I'm staying here, and that starts to unravel their story.
Yeah, and Frank, here are the things that I cannot make sense to me. Thing number one, if the idea is Nolan stayed behind to meet a girl, the thing you need to keep up with that girl or to have further conversation with the girl you just met is your phone. Without your phone,
you need the digits, as they say, Joy.
You need
right?
the digits.
You need the digits. Yeah.
You're on the water. Are you going to write the number on your hand? It might wash off in the water. What are we doing, right?
Yeah.
So you need your phone to keep track with the girl, or maybe you want to take a picture with the girl. Maybe you want to take a selfie with the girl. So you need your phone for that. So that's number one. Number two, if the friend Tashima has to track the phone using 2 different apps, and then she goes to retrieve the phone, if the phone is in the same place as the keys, why did dad have to come back and demand the keys? If the friend of the family comes and if the same person has them, and I don't know that it's the same Warren, if it's the same person that has both the keys and the phone, but someone has the phone and someone has the keys, and each of those parents had to take proactive action to get those things back. Why wouldn't the friends, if you love your friend and something's happened, I would think the kids that I grew up around, that our kids grew up around, would immediately call and say, Miss Reed, I have your child's keys. I have the phone here, get it back. They're holding on to the keys and they're holding on to the phone, and they have to be asked for them. That makes me wonder, well, y'all made your social media private, right? Because if he was snapping, maybe that snap's also on your phone. If y'all took selfies together, maybe those things are also on your phone. All the phone content's missing. And also there has to be all this work to get the phone and the keys. It's weird.
Yeah, it raises suspicions, and that's why we're here talking, isn't it? We don't know the details of who knew what when, and teenagers being teenagers or young people here, and maybe consuming some alcohol, maybe they don't have a clue. Always never. One thing I've learned is never assume nefarious intent when you've got a bunch of kids who really are maybe clueless as to what's just transpired. But yeah, you would think the keys and the phone are in the same place, and yes, they would be easily volunteered as, yes, we're sorry, here they are. I don't know, but I got to say this. Just as the family was able to say, hey, there's been some deleted stuff, we think, on this phone, right? You can check your trash on your phone and see if it's been deleted. And then rest assured, the FBI forensic examiners will absolutely definitively tell us, yes, there's been deletions here. And a coroner or medical examiner will also tell us, with regard to Nolan's body, this body was drowned. this body has water in its lungs because Nolan was alive when he went in the water and he took in water, or no, this body was deceased when it went in the water. All of that will come out with the autopsy results.
Right. And Paul, there's another case that's very similar and analogous that happened in Dallas. And this young man was named Daniel Irving. And he went out boating with friends, with two teenage friends. He's black, they were white. And people are calling it kind of a similar parallel case. He drowned, his body was found, and the two friends were charged with lying to investigators about it. Now, this was a case that seemed to be an accidental drowning. The two other kids panicked, they didn't know what to do, and so they lied. And they are now being charged with a crime for that. The parents of this young man want them charged with murder. But that is a similar case. Like, it's a possibility that something accidentally happened and everyone started panicking, right? But if that is the case, as in this Texas case, can that still be a crime?
Yes, it can be a crime if people lie to investigators or are not forthcoming with what they actually know. And just to reiterate Frank's crucial point, lying doesn't necessarily implicate anybody in a homicide. We know that teenagers' brains are not as developed as adult brains, and it actually takes male brains even longer to develop than female brains. Brains aren't fully developed until they're respond to danger. So the lying or the apparent cover-up could be just because they don't want to get into trouble, or it could be for other reasons. But the other implication of the idea that teenagers aren't as mature as adults is law enforcement is really good at getting teenagers to talk and really good at getting them to give up what they know. So one thing I want to know is, has every kid who was on this island been hauled into the grand jury? Or are they going to be hauled in the grand jury? Are they cooperating with law enforcement? Are they lawyered up? Again, not evidence of guilt, but again, if people don't have anything to hide and they're concerned about this young man who was very popular and who had a tragic death, we certainly hope that they are cooperating.
Yeah. And Dina, we've talked a lot about these teenagers. I want to talk about the adults. Because if a teenager does something wrong, it generally is going to take adult help for them to cover it up. Right. And you can blame the teenagers all you want, but there are a lot of grown people who are taking actions that are odd as well. Because if I knew that my friend's child was missing, I, as the mom, would reach out to the other mom and say, let me help you in any way I can. Let me get that keys, the phone. Let me help you, jailbreak the phone if you can't get into it. What can I do to help? Right. We're all friends. So that brings me to this lady. Her name is Ashley Cole, but her actual title is judge. She's a judge, so she's a lawyer, like you all. She knows the law. And I, as a layperson, have always been told, if anything happens, don't talk. Say nothing. Definitely don't make a public statement. If you don't know where this is going, you don't speak. And I would think she's had the same education. She posted a whole Facebook page in which she appears to give an alibi. She starts by saying that she and her husband were not on the island, asked by no one, but she volunteered that. Then she says that her son did nothing wrong. She explains why they wiped all of their Facebook accounts, why they privated all of their accounts, because she said she fears death threats and that this may be one of the cases the FBI is investigating. But then she does like a weird thing, and she kind of gives her son an alibi. She kind of explains what happened. She says that they left around 4:30 p.m. because the boat was taking on water and they had an issue with the bilge pump. Nolan made a decision to stay on the island and return home with another group of friends. This is the source of that story, the mom. Is that odd for you?
you know, I think that it's kind of like sometimes doctors are their worst patients. I think sometimes lawyers could be, you know, you think that I've got this, right? I'm a professional, I've got this. She should certainly not have given that post. And whether or not, you know, her circling the wagons, first of all, made them look a lot more suspicious, right? Just putting that out there from the get-go, you know, that did not make sense. But also, you don't really know what her son told her, what her son didn't tell her. And now there's a statement that can be read in a court of law. I mean, she absolutely should not have said anything. I mean, the facts in this case do not add up. I mean, to your point about the adults, right? I mean, that's the sad reality is it's the adults that failed. It seems like the children failed with at least not being as transparent, regardless of what they seem to be hiding, not being maybe as transparent about actually what happened. And then the law enforcement, you know, because to Frank's point about the autopsy, the body was there for so long. And yes, they can still determine whether or not somebody drowned or not, but physical scratches or whatever, they're going to have a lot less information. It's going to be a lot harder to determine if there was a fight, what kind of fight, and the injuries after his body being there so long. And if law enforcement had put the resources, if it wasn't these parents having to go on morning shows, right? And they had to enlist the help. I mean, that's the tragedy here, is that this should have been, if they had all done what they were supposed to do immediately after, we wouldn't be like having to sort it out ourselves, which is never good. It's not good for the kids or anybody, and certainly not for Nolan and his family.
Yeah, and Frank, look, in this kind of federal property, at least according to one of the sources that I spoke with, who has association with the parks sort of world in the federal government, an adult would have had to put in a permit for the boat. And so it's not as if the teenagers could just on their own head on up there. There had to be some adults involved in permitting to be there on that boat. I would assume an adult owns the boat. These kids don't own a boat. So there are other adults. And so if you're investigating this case, would you want to maybe talk to the person that owned the boat?
Before John D. Rockefeller, oil was used mostly to light lamps. When Rockefeller's company Standard Oil developed and perfected oil refining, he became the richest man in the world.
Oh, for sure. Let's get the circumstances of what the young men said to the owner and where we're going and where we're coming, when we're coming back and who's going to be with us and all of those circumstances and what they may have told the boat owner. You know, obviously there's a problem with the bilge pump. What else did they tell the owner of the boat? I also have to tell you, I know this is where politics get into play, and this is why the FBI should be taking this case. When you've got a judge involved, and now the sheriff who has to work with that judge, presumably, in all their cases, do they interview that judge? Do they ask for a neutral party? Do they ask for the state to come in and do the interview? Lots of issues here, but really very few answers. I'm waiting for autopsy results. Of course, we all are. And when you throw a judge into this mix, and yes, Dina's right on point, that judge locked herself into essentially her son's story or gave her son the story. Whatever the case, she's locked in. And, you know, I love my sons and I believe them. But when they were 18-year-olds, I don't know if they could rely on what they were saying.
Right.
So, you know, I'm not going to put it in writing, for heaven's sake.
Right, because if something wrong happened, is she not an accessory? Like you put yourself in the story, ma'am. And people are pointing to the stepmother, but that's a mom. Last question to you, Paul. If you could just explain to us how a grand jury works if it's not a criminal grand jury. What does it have the power to do? And if there are two opposing autopsies, if they don't agree, the one in the state and the one that is being paid for by Colin Kaepernick, then what?
So grand juries have two functions. They investigate crimes and they charge people with crimes. At this stage, based on what's been reported, the grand jury is only investigating. but it has power to subpoena witnesses, to subpoena evidence, documents, cell phones, to do forensic evidence. It has power to reveal what happened here. And so, again, it's really important to have confidence in the process if that confidence is deserved. And Joy, you wrote a book, a fabulous book about Medgar Evers, and you know the troubled history of state investigations of crimes involving Black people in Mississippi. And this is a time where ordinarily we would welcome the involvement of the FBI as an independent, impartial, and fair supplement. But this is not an FBI that we can have that confidence in. So I hate to get political. I don't mind getting racial because this is partly about race, but this is also partly about Donald Trump and what he has done to damage our criminal legal system, equal justice under the law, equal protection under the law, and confidence in the government itself.
Yeah, indeed. It's not the Frank Figliuzzi FBI. It is the Kash Patel FBI. And, you know, to circle back to Frank, what you said about Nancy Guthrie, if it had been a conservative talk host's mom, one would suspect that there might have been more urgency. And in this case, there seems to be more urgency about, you know, investigating potential threats against some of the family members rather than finding out what happened to this child. This has been such an incredible panel. I so appreciate you all spending the hour with me. Paul Butler, Dina Dahl, Frank Figliuzzi, you guys are all stars. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you both and wish you an amazing, safe, and happy weekend.
Thank you, Joy.
Thank you very much. I hope you guys have enjoyed that. We decided we wanted to bring our A game and get an A-list panel to get you some expert conversation about what happened to this young man, Nolan Wells. We'll keep you posted. The funeral service was initially scheduled to be on Monday. We will let you know if that moves, if it changes. There's been some thought that it might move, but we shall see.
Back to the basics, grassroots level. Let me dig a little deeper with the shovel. Plenty can't tell the forest from the trees, and I'm hard to detect. Like a